What's going on, guys? You're very welcome to another Degenerate Watch live stream. Thank you very much for joining me, and thank you to everyone that's watching me over here that came along from the premiere. And thanks to everyone as well that joined me, that's here to join me last night as well on the live stream and the premiere as well. And I'm sorry I'm a bit late coming over here. I was just getting myself something quick to eat and getting a couple of drinks in up here, because that happened to be last night. I ran out of drinks near the end and I was starting to get a dry mouth as well, so I made sure I had a couple of extra drinks there. So I hope everybody out here, I hope everybody's doing well tonight, and I hope you enjoyed the other video. I'm just looking through there. I'm just looking through there the comments to catch up on the comments. Yeah, rasher sandwich would have been nice. Yeah, I wouldn't trust myself actually frying rashers at this time of night. Or maybe it could have to be some sort of oven job or something. Maybe something a bit less risky. Yeah, rashers are just lovely. Yeah, I just looking there now. I'm hungry for rashers. Oh, bacon gin. Oh, that's interesting. 1.5 kgs of bacon. That is a challenge. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, we don't do punctuality too well. We haven't been too punctual here lately on the channel, anyway. That's for sure. Anyway, nice to see you, 67 White Stang. Yeah, potato sandwich is good, and it's nice and handy and quick. Don't know what's going on with our thing here. I'm just gonna fix this up. This webcam that's there of Temple Bar, because it is Saturday night, or it is Friday night. God, Saturday night. See, I done my shopping today, and I usually do it of a Saturday, but I done it today instead, and now I'm all messed up. Yeah, now I'm definitely all messed up now because of that. But yeah, because I keep thinking it's Saturday, or well, it is Saturday. Oh, I'm just confused now. I'm just making it worse. So yeah, so we'll see. Do we see anything? There's not really going on. When we were looking at this last night, it was like 4 o'clock in the morning or something. There was nobody about. But of course, that was Thursday night. I had to think about that before I said it. Oh yeah, actually, I'll have a look and see about the indoor camera. See what's going on inside. I'll have a look here and see. Oh, yeah, it's on the same site as well. It's just that I hadn't come across that. Oh, that's good. Oh yeah, there's a bit of crack going on inside. All right. Actually, what I'll do is I'll pop that on. Just 1 second. Because there's a bit of crack going on inside there. That's inside now there at the moment. And they're singing the Cranberries' Zombie. And I'd say, I don't know how well, I'll just adjust the volume. Mhm. Um, yeah, like I'd say, there's some money being spent in there tonight. All right, what's that mad lad at with his top off? Just we might have to censor stuff now in a minute if it starts getting a bit out of hand in there. But yeah, I know I'd say that because like we're probably saying last night we're talking something like nearly probably a tenner a pint there. You're just after saying it, Roisin. Tenner pints, no. That's what I'm saying. It probably wouldn't surprise me. And but like let's say like what if everyone in there was that they're definitely drinking more than 3 pints. But if everyone in there was drinking 3 pints, that's like 30 euro a head. That's not bad going for a night there. Yeah, the kind of see Brian. I think it's because that's kind of right in the kind of more hotspot touristy area. I'd say they just kind of they're able to get away with that. Now I'm not saying like prices elsewhere probably are a little bit better, like, but I suppose the further you go away from the main areas. I'm just gonna cut that volume there because it's in one of my ears there, and it's a bit raspy, if you know what I mean. There's kind of a bit of distortion on it, but yeah, it seems like there's a good bit of crack going on in there anyway. But I'm trying to think there. What would that be in US money? Um, yeah, probably wouldn't be far off 14 US either, I suppose. Um, yeah, it is expensive. It's expensive to go out, and another thing up there recently was that there was a lot of controversy over was that Taylor Swift only recently announced that she was going to be playing in Dublin. I think it's next July, and immediately, obviously, the hotels put up their prices to like astronomical rates. Like I'm not joking. Like these rates, when I seen it, I was like, you literally for the one night that you'd spend staying over for the concert, you'd probably get a holiday away. You'd get over to England for a weekend away, I'd say, anyway, on the prices that they're looking. I seen another thing there on it was on, I think someone has it up on Airbnb. It's it was an apartment up there. I think it's a 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom apartment to rent for that weekend that concert's on, and I think they're looking for 18,000 euro, something crazy like that. Yeah, so like when anything like that happens, the greed comes out. But yeah, like I don't know if there's anything. Yeah, so they were saying that there's a rampant price gouging by hotels on dates of Taylor Swift concerts in Dublin. It says there's not a hotel room available in Dublin for less than 350 euro for the dates of the Eras tour shows next year. I'm just trying to see what they're saying. So it's from look. This is one of the TDs, which is who was it there? TD Thomas Pringle was saying this in the Dáil. He was saying from looking at booking.com this morning, there isn't a single hotel room available in Dublin for under 350 for either nights of the Taylor Swift concerts, and they're on next year. And if that isn't expensive enough, we have in recent days seen rampant price gouging from Dublin hotels, some raising the price for a room. And this is insane, right? From 359 euro to an incredible 999 for the night of the concert. And this was before the tickets were even released. And it's not just hotels that are guilty of price gouging. One landlord has a 2-bedroom apartment that priced at 20,000 euro for the same weekend. He said the issue is not new or unique and has happened before with concerts and sporting events, and pressed the Taoiseach on what he would do about it. Responding to that, the Taoiseach said that he had spoken to hoteliers on the matter and they said they have their own story to tell. He said there is a dilemma in that there is not enough hotels in the city of Dublin, but with the ongoing housing crisis, they don't want to see more new hotels being built, but want houses built instead. Which you can obviously understand that, like, but there have been talking for a while about the lack of hotel rooms in Dublin, but then there is an awful lot of people in emergency accommodation living in hotels that should be housed somewhere as opposed to be living in a hotel room, and that's where there's a lot of issue as well, because there was a stage where there was a lot of families like living in a hotel room, but they had nowhere to cook for their kids or whatever, like, and they were basically just living in a hotel room, and that was going on indefinitely because there was lack of accommodation for people, suitable accommodation or whatever. But now you have this price gouging sort of thing going on with these concerts, and of course, I haven't heard really much about any of the events that are going on in Dublin at the moment, if there's that sort of stuff going on already. But it's crazy, like what the prices are. Yeah, Brian's saying no Canadian dates for Taylor Swift, and people are pissed. They should try being metal fans. Do you mean like that? It's hard to get tickets for like metal gigs as well. Like, I suppose like there are certain gigs that sell out immediately. It's like just tickets go on sale at 9 a.m. and by 9:01 they're sold out. Like, it's crazy. You just have to be there. Like, I suppose it's on the button or whatever. But yeah, and 67 White Stang saying, I heard in some states that here the hotels are doing that, and see it that there's probably a thing all over the place with like the hospitality industry after they were hit with. I know there was always that thing, if there was an event on, that probably raised the prices a little bit or whatever, like, but this massive gouging that's going on is I'd say to do with trying to recoup losses from the whole pandemic situation where they had lost out so badly, and like they're never going to chase those losses and actually recoup them, like, especially not doing that, because that's counterproductive, because when you start gouging people don't want to go and spend the money because they don't think it's worth it. Like I don't think, like, let's say what are you going to pay for the tickets? So let's say you're not even able to get the tickets and maybe you have to buy them somebody that's reselling them, and they're obviously going to put the price up, if there's a shortage of tickets and they're in demand. So like, let's say you end up paying over the odds for your ticket, and then you have to pay over the odds for a hotel room, and then when you're up there you have to pay over the odds for like refreshments and food, and you'd actually be better. I think somebody did this a while ago. There was somebody was playing, I can't remember who it was. I think it was a Bruce Springsteen. He was playing a couple of gigs around Europe, and it was actually cheaper. I'm not sure if it was Bruce Springsteen or was another artist, but whoever it was, anyway, somebody said it was cheaper for them to fly to Germany, see the show over there, and stay in Germany for a weekend, and then come back to Ireland and actually go on to the gig here. And with those prices, you'd well believe that. Dave saying she isn't coming to New Zealand either, and her 3 Aussie shows are mostly sold out. And she must, like, she must be still fairly popular. Like, I know there was a big I don't like follow her music or anything, but a couple of her songs are good, like, but that I like, but the I don't really follow her to know like how popular she is or anything, but I know she was popular a good while ago, and if you're saying like tickets are selling out like that, and Dave's just saying that there was cheaper to fly out and back for the concerts. Yeah, it does look like good fun in there. It'd be funny actually to see these people transition from in here to outside, because it's usually as soon as the cold air hits you and you get outside, then you know all about it. Jeez, that's insane. That is Russian insane. Four tickets for nearly 800. That's madness. Yeah, and I can only imagine what it'd be now when you think about it. And then if you like in terms of like staying, and then if you're traveling to Dublin, like if you're from anywhere outside Dublin and the concert's on and you're going to it, like depending on if you can like organize a bus or if you're going to drive to it and maybe not have a few drinks or anything like that, yeah, you could drive up and back or whatever. But if you wanted to kind of just relax and kind of not have to worry about that, public transport's not the greatest to get out of Dublin after a concert. It's everything starts shutting up at like at midnight and stuff like that, so you won't get nothing out of Dublin. Well, like the buses, I think the last bus down my way leaves Bus Aris in Dublin at about midnight. So, like, that's probably no good to you. Like even if the concert finished at like 11 or half, well, not even 11, like depending on where it is, and then it's trying to get out of there and get back because everyone's going to be flooding all the other public transport trying to get back. So you nearly have to stay, and I think they know that, and that's why they do that. And I'm sorry, guys, I just still catching up on the comments there. And Brian saying if metal bands come to Canada, they play Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver. Yeah, that's the thing as well with some places. Like when bands come here, it's usually always in Dublin. Like, and I know what you mean. It's kind of like if you're not near the place, it's more hassle and stuff like that. And Dave saying, "I'm sure we'll keep your secret safe." But I could have a guilty pleasures playlist, and but that can't be leaked. It's highly embarrassing. That's the thing. Places have you everywhere. They know that you need to stay. Like here, like let's say if you're going to Dublin from outside Dublin, or whatever, you need to stay over or whatever, and then you have like you're saying there, like it's when you're taking people to a concert or whatever like that, as a treat or a present or whatever, like you kind of you want to see the people happy, so you don't mind paying the money, and then at the same time the people know that people are going to bring kids and all to it, they're just going to pay the money. So it's it's they always get you. Hello to Mark C. 13579. I was going to say 1357, but then I seen the 9. Is this live in Dublin? Wouldn't it be like 3:30 a.m.? No, it's 2:38 a.m. here at the moment, and I most pubs, like like in my local town here, a lot of the pubs will be closed now. You might have actually, yeah, all the pubs will be closed. The local nightclub or whatever would have just finished up there about 2:30, probably about 10 minutes ago or so there, and I think that's what's probably going to start happening here. Is probably winding down a bit. I think them guys, they could have stopped playing. I'm not sure what time closing time is up there. Definitely longer. I'd say a bit longer because it's of where it is and stuff like that or whatever. But I can't remember. Like I'd say they probably have an extended license or whatever, because most of the pubs here, like, and I don't know, because it's just a smaller town, I suppose, would kind of close about maybe 1 o'clock, something around then. Like, but I don't even know if that legislation came in, but there was talk of bringing in legislation here about extending the opening hours, kind of having pubs being allowed if they wish open till like 6 a.m. or something like that. Which I don't know, like it's kind of like I understand that out in Spain and all that, those kind of like party resort islands and stuff like that, but I don't know if to be people, like I just can see that getting messy, like people being out all night and then kind of pubs are closing at 6 a.m. or whatever, the people coming home like mouldy, and there's people going heading off to work. Yeah, 3 o'clock maybe. Yeah, maybe they have another 20 minutes kind of get the band to stop playing now, so people aren't too carried away when it gets to closing time. You can get people out the door. Although it has kind of cleared out a little bit in there. I'll come back to the inside view now in just 1 second. I'm just gonna check and see what's happening outside. It's so nosy. Make sure outside's still operational there. Not too much going on outside. I keep forgetting you can zoom in on this, you know. There's a few people about there. A rickshaw there waiting to. I don't know how much the rickshaws are even to like get a lift on or whatever. Probably expensive, to be honest with you. You know, I don't know. Is he? Oh, look at he's getting some customers there. Yeah, he's getting some customers there. I was just trying to get back into the live stream on my phone here so I can see the comments when I'm in this. Oh no, here's the Madeira woman again. Or is it Madeira? I keep saying Madeira. I don't even know if it is Madeira. Yeah, it is Madeira. Okay. Everyone leaves my live streams with a sudden urge to travel to Madeira for some reason. I wonder why that is. And thanks very much, Stefan, for the happy birthday there. I actually even forgot to say that at the start of the stream. I was just forgot to say it, like. But yeah, no, that's why it's lucky I have that ticker going along at the bottom of the screen, just so I don't forget. Remember there was do you remember that thing that was going on there? It was a couple of years ago. I remember there was like the guards were investigating a lot of those rickshaw drivers for, like, you know, I think there was a lot of drug dealing and all going on. I'm not saying it's still going on or whatever, like it could be possibly or whatever, but there was some sort of nefarious activities going on. There's the council there on mop up duty. So that was a bit of a crowd out anyway, even when it is a bit later. Yeah, and I'd say they were making a good bit of money while they were at it, because you know what I mean. Like, you're out in those areas, and for a while I'd say they were flying under the radar, to be honest, because, you know, probably not suspecting that, but you know, yeah, I think that little thing was brought an end to. Now you never know what still goes on. Yeah, that's surprising, because sometimes you see those bikes and the frame is just sitting there and the wheels are missing off it, and I don't know if that's because people are actually taking the things they use on other bikes, or it's just for pure devilment, like, do you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm surprised that's still there. But there has been a lot of these, like, bike thefts going on all over the place or whatever, but a lot of them in Dublin, like, you know, the more high-end bikes that people have, and they're getting stolen. Oh, bouncer was getting onto somebody over there. Yeah, it's hard to escape no matter where you go. That, like, you know, especially when it's touristy spots or stuff like that. Oh, I see what's going on over there. That lady had come out with a pub over there with a glass, if you know what I mean, and the bouncer gave her a plastic cup, I think, or something like that's what it looked like happened there, because it can't have glass. You can't bring glass out onto the street, like, or whatever. And I don't think they're supposed to be drinking on the street, so I maybe no, I think she has a plastic glass in her hand. You know, you can zoom in so close you can almost lip read what they're talking about. There's another rickshaw. What's this going on here now? Are these people like, is he trying to rack up business for somewhere? Not quite sure. They didn't hang around long enough for us to find out. But yeah, don't worry as well. We are going to look at a couple of clips there shortly. Of course, as as I said, we would. Stefan, we were just saying there, it's probably around 3 a.m. there to close the bars in Dublin. Like as I was saying there, like most of the like pubs and stuff in like the smaller towns probably be closed, mainly for the fact I suppose to be probably most people have gone home. There's still a lot of people milling about in Dublin, like, you know. I don't actually know if there's any concerts on this weekend, and I think last weekend Dermot Kennedy was playing up there. What's that lad? There's a guy at the door looking fairly confused about something. Maybe somebody took his rickshaw. Yeah, that's why we've been kind of glued into this, you know, just kind of saying what's going on. The guy over there on the right hand side's a bit worse for wear. He kind of the lean. He has that stereotypical lean. It's the thing as well. Back before the ban on smoking in pubs came, I guarantee you, if we were looking here now, it'd be like that building was on fire with the haze of smoke coming out of it from people smoking in at the bar. Like, it's actually mad to think about it, like, you know, and that smoking on airplanes actually went on many years ago. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate that. Yeah, people watching from a safe distance. But and myself now, I have been out in quite a while. Like when it was me. Oh my God! Did you see that? Did you see that, guys? I can't believe that. Oh my God! This is just crazy. Hopefully that person was okay there. I was like, I just saying, but I didn't even know there was another person underneath that person. Yeah, that would look like a fairly bad fall. Like one person fell onto the other. Yeah, the footpath was thirsty after they were a bit thirsty, I think. Yeah, it's nice that people actually helped. That, you know, nobody kind of just walked off. Like, the person holding the jacket there is probably the next victim of that pavement. If they get any further. Kind of white t-shirt, looks like he's looking for trouble there. And he's just put on a pair of shades. Maybe he's just trying to be edgy. I'm not quite sure. But that rickshaw have graffiti on the back of it? Like, how lax do you have to be to like be sitting somewhere in your rickshaw and and have someone graffiti the back of it? It won't be long. See the way there's all those advertisements outside the pub. I'm wondering how long it'll be until that's not allowed anymore. You know, you're not because you know the way they're not allowed now in the shops here. They're not allowed to advertise like the cigarettes behind the counter. Like it can't be any reference to the cigarettes as such. If you know what I mean, they can't be advertising the packets or whatever. So like, I wonder how long it'll be till it gets to that stage where they'll say no, like, because I remember, wasn't it a long time ago they banned certain advertising, like from Formula One and all? Was it today? I think it was cigarettes, or I know they banned alcohol from something, for advertising alcohol on something on some sporting events, but yeah, that's why I was 67 White Stang is saying it's not, what's nice to see is everyone's minding their business and no one's causing problems. And that is good there, like that, you don't see any bother going on, to be honest. And see, and this is the time of the night when anybody that's out is probably been out for a fairly substantial portion of the night. I think that bar is empty now, over there now. There's a lot of people starting to come out. It's actually 9 minutes to closing time, so I presume if it's 3 o'clock, it's just about 9 minutes to closing time. So they're starting to. I wonder, why do we go back inside for a quick second, and we can see if there's Let's see if they're having trouble now. I bet you I'm going to get another advertisement for Madeira here. But it's fine. We'll deal with it. Oh, it's empty. Where's all those people that are at the door? They must be like further out to the side there. So it's a cleanup operation in here at the moment. Doesn't look too bad. We'll head back outside there. We'll head back outside again so we don't miss anything. Hello there to Domestic Terror, who's joining us, saying fresh squeezed tangerines and whiskey over ice. Sounds good. Oh yeah, the domestic terror saying hello. Just as I sat down with a whiskey drink and log on, the talk is about banning alcohol. Lordy, yeah, I was talking about the signs, the advertising signs outside the pub there. I was saying, how long will it be till like that's not allowed, or like when they were banning like alcohol from certain like sporting events and stuff like that. And Stefan Saint Germain saying your house looks good, Degenerate. I hope Stefan's not standing outside in the cold. Some will cut it with seltzer. Hello to Josiah Stahlberg. Saying in the USA there are no TV commercials advertising cigarettes. But I suppose that is a good thing. Because I remember they used to advertise cigarettes on like loads of stuff years ago. I remember I definitely remember like Rotman cigarettes being advertised on like Formula One cars, and Marlboro and stuff like that. And that was as a kid, like I remember seeing those, and it's still stuck in my head. So like it does work, that advertising, if you know what I mean. Like it does stick in your mind, like. And hello to Dave Malik who's joining us. Good to see you. Yeah, definitely a lot more comfort than nosebleed seats. If you're at home and you can do your own thing. What's going on over there? I just looked up real quick and I freaked out there for a second. Rickshaws now. What's up? They're arriving now to see can they get anyone to take someone away. Although, like the thing is, I know it'd probably be expensive, like or whatever, like because you know. But it probably would be tempting, depending on how bad you are, or if you were trying to get somebody home, like not home, like, but just down to the hotel. Like, for example, like, you and a couple of your buddies is out, like there's a man down or whatever, like he's not able for it, and like people just can't trying to carry this person, so get the old rickshaw up and try speed him up the road or something. But yeah, so I'm only having nappies, Dave. I'm not long out of my Pampers. Um, do you know what? Like, I know, like, you need some sort of a permit and all that, but like somebody would do well there with one of those like little hot dog vans or something there. People could just go straight out of the pub and want something to eat there. I like, in a must be going back maybe about 7 or 8 years, or even more than that. But I remember there was a guy that used to park outside. He used to park kind of between the nightclub and where, like, it was kind of on the main street, but it was kind of like between where the nightclub was and the kind of venues at the top of the town. And like people obviously coming from those pubs walking down on their way to the nightclub, it's just too tempting when you're walking by, and the smell of the food is coming off it, and people are like, oh, it's right there. So like he had it sewn up there for a good while, because like, no, people would be walking down, wouldn't even be intending on getting something to eat. It's just the smell, the food, and he's right there. And you're thinking, oh yeah, and it's this great idea, but oh, sorry, I thought, oh my god, it's just that I'm after doing it again. I'm there watching it, and I'm thinking it's up. And no, thanks for that, Roisin. I didn't know it was there. Um, I didn't know it wasn't up there. Oh, that's cool. 67 White Stang is saying, so you like wolves, Degenerate Watch, they're beautiful. I have a dog which is part fox, a little turtle lover. Oh, but that's cool. Yeah, no, I love wolves. Like, they're a really interesting animal, and they're like beautiful as well. Um, and I seen a guy there recently down at the local beach here. He had a really nice husky, and it was a kind of a black and white one, but the markings on its face were really nice. I think he had a husky, and it was either, I'm not quite sure if it was, I think it was a German Shepherd he had, but yeah, there were two big dogs. Um, yeah, spice bag vendor. Definitely, yeah. The spice bags are still on the go. Um, Look at those lads. People are getting rowdy there. Well, not rowdy, like, but boisterous, I suppose you could say. Let's have a look over here. I didn't see what happened to that person that fell after. Whether they were okay. Well, the good sign is we didn't see any ambulance or anything coming. So, oh, there the shutters are going down. And night's work finished anyway there. Well, probably not, probably cleaning to do, but I'm sure the bouncer will be heading off soon. I don't know. Is it okay to still call them bouncers? Is it? You know what I mean? Doormen, security personnel. There's somebody on a go kart. I was going to call it on a rickshaw there. Um, Earlier on, when I was just setting this up, it's a Garda van parked right in front of, like, but just right where that rickshaw is now, and I had to move out of the way for the bin lorry. The bin lorry was trying to get down there and negotiate from the right hand side there and go down that road. Bit of dancing there. That lady does not want the party to finish. She still wants to dance. There's that bicycle. Along with that, we should check in on that bicycle and see how long it's there. It was still there like 4 o'clock in the morning last night. The odd time now, you might see. I'd say like now that we've said that, I'd say like you'll probably see some guards walk down here, or probably won't walk down here. They'll probably come through in a van or a car, most likely at some point. They'll probably be out patrolling around, but yeah, I know what you mean. You kind of, in some European cities, I suppose, when you go out, you would notice a kind of a heavier police presence, I suppose. But yeah, there has been controversy over the last while in terms of, just criticism about police numbers in Dublin and stuff like that, especially around O'Connell Street and all. It's been kind of a few incidents there, kind of antisocial behaviour and stuff like that. And it's just trying to get a lid on that, like, but it's all resources thing, but they do come through here. Like, they were parked there for a while earlier, and I don't know if they were actually dealing with something or if they were just kind of stopped there for a while, just having a look at what was going on. Yeah, the Garda Garda is the police. It's taking a trip. I think this is this Madeira again, but it's the guy this time. Domestic Tarzan. Cougars here fight over the same piece of tail. Trail of donuts. Well, coyotes, yeah, coyotes are another kind of interesting animal as well. Kind of very similar to the wolves, like. And the noise of the coyotes as well. When it quietens down a bit here, I'm gonna put on something, put on some sort of clips or something there. I suppose you guys can let me know if it whenever you want or whatever. I'd love to know what those people are advertising. Quite funny if somebody was actually watching this here now, like from the street, they just went onto YouTube and like, oh, there's a live stream of this, and then they were commenting down below now. All the action's happening over here at the moment. It's a good crowd of people down at that far end of the street. That's another venue down there that was kicking out. Yeah, I actually seen a video there, something about there was the French police shot somebody the other day, a teenager or something like that. I didn't see what the whole story was behind it. I seen some sort of a clip of something earlier on about it, but I don't know the full story. But yeah, protest season over there. I was looking at that earlier on the news. It's like some places have been absolutely torn up over there. Like, yeah, it's crazy. Like, I think we were saying that last night as well. It might be something to do with water now, isn't it? Um, Oh, 67 White Stanks, and I worked in a company where I worked with all the armored cars, and one is called Garda Armored Car, which was my account. It's so weird for me to see any of those trucks, those Garda trucks over there, because it says Garda on it, and I'm just so used to all the police vehicles here saying that on it, and yeah, they're like it's kind of like our equivalent of like Brinks or Securica or something like that. They go around and pick up all the um, cash in transit vans, like, um, yeah. The French people always do protest. They definitely don't take things lying down anyway. And I think they get that from their whole revolutionary past there with the whole French Revolution and all. It was kind of that's never gone out of them to kind of stand up for themselves. Um, Hello to Robert Morley joining us there. Good to see you. Domestic terrorists. And just found out today that only one surname in my ancestors is not Gaelic, and that one is all German. Explains a lot. My great great grandfather was born in County Tyrone. That County Tyrone, yeah, that's up in Northern Ireland. Um, the what was I going to say there? Yeah, no, it's interesting to trace back like your heritage and stuff like that, especially if to find out more about the area or whatever. I don't know a lot about Tyrone now myself, but it's kind of interesting to find out that and stuff like that. Like even with stuff with my own family in my own town here, like there's only a few things that like I only found out recently in terms of like uh my grandfather's brother actually owned a house near the church here. And I just never knew that until I don't know how that even came up. I think that house was actually for sale, and I was saying it to someone and got into a conversation about it, and I ended up kind of finding that out. But it's weird, like but it kind of can be interesting, like um. Is that what happened over there? 67 White Stang after they shot that guy, and the people got out and start rioting over it. Because I kind of like when I seen there was a lot of madness going on, and then I heard that I was kind of wondering. Um, oh yeah, I seen that. What wasn't there? Yeah, some guy went on some sort of like a rampage over there the other day. It was like last week, or yeah, a couple of weeks ago. Because I know that friend of mine's over in France at the moment on holiday. But as I was saying last night, he's in kind of in the center of France, more rural area. So hopefully they're kind of escaping any of that sort of madness at the moment. Um, and hopefully he's kind of relaxing. Like so, I don't think they're going to be in any of the big cities. Maybe, and I think if they were, they've already been and visited because I think he'll be coming home shortly anyway. So, um, oh yeah, now that you said, I forgot about the whole during the Second World War there wasn't. I suppose that the resistance wasn't. They had the French resistance, but I'm saying how they swept in there fairly quickly. Um, Domestic terror saying I look like a wee little Irish female leprechaun. So now I understand why, because I kind of act like one too. Wink, wink. We don't mind. We're pro leprechaun here. Who said I've been called a leprechaun plenty of times. I don't know why if people think that like that is like one of the top insults for an Irish person. You know, I think the list of top insults that people stereotypically go for are leprechaun, and then bringing up something about drinking. And I'm surprised if anybody was watching that live stream. I know if Roisin was there during that live stream where that troll came on at the car show, and he was like, it was just so funny. Like he was just complaining about the car show, and then complaining that he had to watch an ad to watch the video to find out that it was just this car show. And the insult of the day was that I was a drunk Irishman wandering around a lame car. I think it was a lame car show, was it? I'm not quite sure, but yeah, whatever. But I was saying to the guy there at the time that you know, he nearly had it right. It's just I hadn't been drinking yet, you know. But I just thought it was funny that he just came on to complain, like. But that's fine, like, you know. Whatever, like, you know, he was swiftly dealt with, and he was gone. Only then when it was during protest season. Yeah, I mean, leprechaun because they're too short for a troll. Yeah, you have to just own it. Oh, is there a seagull there? Oh yeah, look at the sea. Yeah, just saying that there, the head sticking up. Seagull's trying to see is there any pickings around. The people over there in front of the pub need to get a room. You know what I mean? Man, now been there for far too long. No, another thing that could do it, like, if the guards were, I don't know how much they're doing on these bicycles anymore. Like, I remember that was a thing for a while. They were out patrolling on bicycles a lot. I know they kind of still do that, but that'd be ideal for that sort of for this sort of thing, you know, at night time. Group of lads there, they're deciding where to go. Yeah, it's 13 minutes past 3 here at the moment. Josiah. Yeah, this will be accused of peeping now. That's all they. Oh, what's that guy doing? Okay, that adds up for mischief. Wherever he got that sweeping brush from. Where'd he go? Those advertising board guys must get fed up walking around there. I'd like to be doing that on a cold night. I don't know what that guy was throwing around there a minute ago. See, that guy is just there. He's like staring at those people there. Let's keep an eye on that to make sure like things don't get X-rated here, and we have to cut the feed. Oh, there's the musicians now. I just had a cop on that. That's the musicians heading off home after playing the gig. Hopefully we got a few pints there. Hopefully they don't have too far to go. What's this person at over here? We're having a look at that bicycle there. Is it probably? We're looking at them over there. It's quieting down a lot here at the moment. the Degenerate Watch peep show. Yeah, it was a street. Yeah, there was a street sweeper there a minute ago, I think, or something. Um, yeah, that's right, Brian. We'd be too powerful if it wasn't for the whiskey. Yeah, that actually makes sense. We were put on this island away from everyone, and then we just got too clever. They underestimated us, and now we're everywhere. Hope those two guys getting off the rickshaw there, they weren't like, yeah, drop us down to the Temple Bar there, and he's like, yeah, okay, we know it's closed. Have a look down here. Hopefully there's not a dispute over the price of the fare going on here. You know what I mean? He's probably telling them, times are hard, man. And he's saying times are hard now, me peddling to use around the place. And he's full as eggs. A lot of rain, a lot of rain, wind and stuff like that. We're not really we had some nice weather there recently. We got about maybe 2-3 weeks, I want to say, out of it. And that was probably our summer. What's going on here? Don't like that lad. He's looking very shady. The guy in that blue top there. Hopefully we're not going to witness some sort of crime going on here. I just didn't like how that guy was looking super shady. Now, I could be wrong. But I thought he was looking super shady there. Yeah, that rickshaw guy would be better off getting out of there because I don't know. I had bad vibes about that guy. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too judgy. Yeah, it rains an awful lot over here. She wasn't wrong. Poor advertising man there. But we can't say what he's actually advertising. Probably some sort of food or something like that, I'd say. To be honest with you, trying to get everyone coming back from the pub, to go and get some food. Like, be better off you stand there handing out a few vouchers, get a few bob off the food or something like that. Might rack up a bit of business. He turned around and might be able to see what's on the back of his jacket. And the gull is the star of the show. Come back, gull. Don't even think about going near the bike, sir. He's food into him. This a bit of late night retail therapy. Perhaps. We're going back with a takeout. Continue the party. What's going on here? Yeah, no Gardaí have came down yet anyway. It's been raining since the 25th of June 1957. Non-stop. Yeah, the train Gardigulls. That's actually that's some sort of conspiracy theory that like birds are government drones or something like that. Be good surveillance, like, because you don't suspect the birds, you know. But now we're onto them. Oh yeah, anytime you cut the grass here, like in the weather over the last while there, um, you cut it today, let's say, and everything's all good. You go out tomorrow and it's yellow because of the sun. Those people, I just have to say, like, I just want to keep bringing attention to this, but those people, like, they're going to be still there for the next live stream. That's what I think is happening there. Seagulls, yeah, and the seagulls will steal. What's going on here? People are into horrors. That guy, the guy with the board there, like he was told by his boss to go down and stand at that junction, and he's thinking this is super awkward. Those people making out over there with the stand here, like just hold a sign up above your face, like just don't look. Oh, look at the seagull down there. Oh no, that's not a seagull, is it? What's going on over in the corner? Oh, there's a seagull. Look at the seagull down the bottom. Just what we're roaming around at the bottom. Oh, man has a chair. It's like a wrestling match here or something like that. Your man's bringing the chairs out. Where was that stool? I didn't see where he got that stool from that time. Yeah, I need some fresh tinfoil, Dave. Yeah, that's probably right. Accommodation's probably too expensive, Roshi. And they're like, here, we'll just stay here. Like, oh man, find himself something there. Yeah, probably if you wandered around there, you'd probably find some amount of money dropped on the ground. Even jumping around the place. And the seagull knows a good area to scavenge when he sees one. This is a fairly old part of Dublin, especially still has the cobbles, kind of cobbled streets there. Um, yeah, this whole area is very narrowed. Um, that whole like kind of area, there's a lot of like kind of narrower alleyways and all, but like kind of there's other streets, kind of further down or whatever to be a bit wider, obviously, and have like proper traffic on them and all. Like, but I suppose this kind of more reserved old Dublin kind of for touristy, keep it tourist friendly, I suppose. That's not. It doesn't look like it's a bad evening. Like you see that flag that's flapping over there, so there's a bit of a breeze there, but it's not too bad of a night out. So you probably wouldn't be too cold walking home. But yeah, it's it's quite unusual though, like for like, because if I walk down my local like main street now, there'd be probably nobody around. Well, I actually saying that, and I would probably make a liar out of myself, but there wouldn't be nothing left open still up there. I suppose you'd still have a few places that would be having like food places and all still open. Yeah, it is. It's kind of one of those nights, like even where I am here, it's kind of it's like it's not cold, but it's not too warm either. Like it's okay. Like it's not bad. Um, yeah, it is. It is a kind of a nice area for in terms of like the architecture, the way the streets are, and all like that. I only seen a thing there today where they were talking about some parts of Dublin. They're saying is becoming too noisy in terms of like street noise. From like signage and all, there's too much road signs and like bollards and stuff like that, and it's kind of taken away from the look of the place in it in certain areas, like But yeah, there are some really nice areas, some really nice buildings in Dublin as well. Some of the older buildings, like and I suppose like there is a lot to see in Dublin. Not even just the kind of the main things. Like there's just other little things like you could do as well. But I suppose depending on how long you're staying for, you kind of same when you go anywhere, you kind of have to prioritize what you're going to do and see. Like, but so yeah, that's it is that sort of weather. Like it's kind of just light hoodie or something like that. Not you don't have to like wrap up too much or nothing. Um, yeah, everything's open for the 5 finger discount. What crime is afoot in the city tonight? Like what's going on? Oh, look at the people are moving off there. Or no, maybe. See what's going on there. Nah, they haven't given up. They just remembered there's no accommodation. It's like, oh yeah. I was just trying to run away on him. Well, there they go. Yeah, the Temple Bar. Yeah. Yeah, the Temple Bar, and the area that this is in is actually called Temple Bar. So that pub's fairly old. Let's see what's anything there. Just trying to see. It says it dates back to 1840. Yeah. And like I suppose it is kind of an iconic building when you think about it. It's in an awful lot of like tourist photos. People like to get a photo outside of it. So yeah, I suppose it's up there. Oh yeah, Glendalough there is very good. A friend of mine had I think they had the poutine that they had. He had that a while ago. Um, Yeah, yeah. That Glendalought's nice. I like the way there's a lot of those kind of like kind of, you know, smaller distilleries. They're not like the, you know, the like the mainstream, you know, big names or not. I like kind of that sort of, you know, the smaller kind of local things and all that. Um, you know, it's kind of a lot of that's happening now, like with whiskey, spirits, and all more. So, like, I remember a good few years ago, it was all craft beers and all that. You know, there was an explosion of all those um, little microbreweries and all. Yeah, sometimes brands can do that. They want to, you know, have their finger in every pot, like, you know, and kind of like to try to appeal to everyone, and you know, they kind of, you don't want it to lose focus then on what your main, you know, what your main thing is, like, you know, or kind of be going off. Like I find, like, I know it's not the same thing, but I find Taylor were doing that an awful lot. Like every 10 minutes, Taylor were coming out with some random flavor or something. I see now they have I suppose people from outside Ireland probably wouldn't know what I'm on about, but they have Taylor crisps that are mayonnaise flavored, which is like mayonnaise or another crisps that Taylor make that are pickled onion flavor. So I don't see the point of it. Like, because if you want mayonnaise, you'll buy mayonnaise. Like, I don't, I just don't get it. I don't know why they're even doing that. It's like some limited edition. I just don't get it. There's all sorts of mad flavors, like, you know. Um, yeah, you can't beat the cheese and onion. Like, cheese and onion is the staple, I suppose. Um, especially for the old crisp sandwiches. Um, it's not a bin truck going up there. The vibes in the back of your head driving one of those around the city centre on a Saturday night or a Friday night or Friday night into Saturday morning, whatever day it is, when there's people drinking. But ketchup chips. Oh, are they like? I get you now. They're like crisps that are flavored like ketchup. I was just trying to think there. I was thinking chips made out of ketchup. I was sort of like chips flavored like ketchup. There's some flavors out there, like, you know, that like I don't understand. Um, but I don't know. Do you think the ketchup chips are nice? I'm not too adventurous with new tastes like that. In like when some of these new flavors come out, um, sometimes, you know, I might try, but I don't know. I kind of have me things that I like or whatever, and yeah, the you can't bet an old Guinness. Oh no, that doesn't sound good. Anything that leaves like residue, like, you know, like it's staining after it, like that is not good. And the domestic terms, I don't like mayo or ketchup. Mustard is my favorite, and I like, I don't mind mayo or ketchup. I wouldn't be that keen on mustard. Like, I don't mind it, but um, I suppose, like, I'm trying to think, is there any other sort of kind of garlic mayonnaise is nice. Um, I don't know if you brown sauce as well. Um, it just reminded me there of the film Intermission where they were putting the brown sauce, the chef brown sauce into the tea. And I just always thinking that always reminds me. I always think of Colin Farrell whenever I see brown sauce in the supermarket. That's weird. But yeah, brown sauce or burger sauce. That's one I don't know how widespread that is. There's a chipper here in the town that actually calls burger sauce a Yankee dip, and I don't know if that's correct. I don't know if you're allowed to say that anymore, but that's what they call it, and I don't know why. Like I don't know if it's an American thing, but um, thanks very much, Josiah. Yeah, it's hard to believe that it's been 3 years, to be quite honest. Um, and can anybody remember who the first frauditor that was covered was? The video isn't actually there to watch now. The video's not there anymore, but um, that's a bit of trivia there if anyone knows. Um, who the first frauditor that fell victim to Degenerate Watch was. Um, I've never had A1 sauce though, but I'm trying to describe brown sauce, and I can't. There is some sort of a spice to it, isn't there? There's I'll just say a tang. Tang is tang a good description of that. I think the domestic tour was saying my grandmother made all kinds of Irish dishes. Mustard was the only thing that worked. And I suppose then as well that can happen a lot. Kind of if you're kind of brought up eating certain stuff and all, you kind of get a taste for it, and you don't really like anything else, or you kind of no one thing works better than another, and you just kind of you get into that's the way you like it or whatever. Um, yeah, and then there's like debates over as well, like what's the best brown sauce and like what's the best ketchup and stuff. Like and then there's actually like good ads on the TV for chef ketchup where there's a debate on within the ad over whether you should keep it in the fridge or out of the fridge. And like the ads the ad's funny, like because the people are arguing with each other over whether you should leave it in the fridge or not. Ketchup out or ketchup in. Um um Oh yeah, cabbage and corned beef. That's a big favorite kind of here, I suppose. Um, Cabbage and corned beef. For some people, get bacon and cabbage. Um, yeah, bacon and cabbage. You said that the same time there, bacon and cabbage. Um, Carl Cannon as well. Yeah, I haven't had that in years actually. Um, I'm trying to think now. Is there any other? Um, trying to think of something else there. Like, yeah, I like a good cottage pie. Yeah, cottage pie is nice. And Esme, good to see you there. Saying, pretty sure ketchup says refrigerator after use, and that's the thing. The company it does say on their own bottle, like put it in the refrigerator. I don't know what the whole thing is with the ad, whether you put it in the thing or not. Like, I always think, like, it's sitting in the supermarket, not in a refrigerator, but obviously then when you open it, like you've broken the seal on it. So yeah, maybe for it probably might be okay out of it but maybe if you want it to last a bit longer, definitely keep it in the fridge as such, like. But I suppose for people that have let's say a large family and they're using like a bottle of the ketchup fairly quickly, and then as well over here, in comparison to, like, I've seen some of the like our ketchup bottles over here, like the biggest size you're probably going to get would be probably about a kilo in weight, like, which yeah, it's a fairly big bottle for our standards, like. But I've seen like these, like in the US, in some of the supermarkets, like some of the like sizes of the packs and all are like really big, because I know over there you can buy like big jugs, I call them, of milk. Over here, like, you kind of buy 2 liters at a time. I think Tesco here were doing like a 3 liter. I think they were pushing the boat out there with a 3 liter. Um, but yeah, I do see. Esme was saying, so, oh my God, you replied. I know. I try to reply to people. If I don't miss it, if I'm not having a choo moment. Um, It says I worked at a restaurant and they left it out all the time, and I see that as well here in Eddie Rockets. Their restaurant, they used that. I think they still actually have it sitting out on the table. Um, I suppose they're probably restaurants and places are probably going through it a lot quicker than you would probably at home. But yeah, and it all depends as well. I know some people like don't like when you be dipping, using the sauce to dip or something. I know there's some people that don't like the sauce being like stone cold, like, do you know what I mean? When I suppose it's all about preference, I suppose. Is that just after checking there? Is that guy that was there earlier that I was having suspicions about? The guy in that blue hoodie. I said suspicions, like, but maybe I was tarring the poor man with the wrong brush. And they're all heading off there anyway. Look at the street is empty for the first time now since like, except for further up, but very very strange. But oh no, Madeira again. Tell you what we'll do, because it's gone quiet there. We'll watch a little clip of something. I can't believe actually that we've been watching the that we've been watching the that we've been watching this for so long. I go to move off to a clip every time, and then something happens or I see something. Um, but yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll riveting there. That's why. Yeah, as you can see, the Wolves have the place tore up there. I'm just going to get a little. I'm just going to get the clip, D clips. Okay. Yeah, so I'm just trying to figure out what one we'll watch first. So what we'll do is yeah. So this is one I actually came across there, and I actually, by right, I should have played it last night in the live stream, but I didn't get around to it. This is a shoplifting clip from Yonkers in New York, and I was kind of going to play it yesterday with the shoplifting video. 1 second, I'll have that. Bear with me for a second. And I'll get that up on the screen there. Now, so yeah, so this is in Yonkers, shoplifting, and we have a kind of I suppose we have the actual crime, and then we have the arrest. So, you know, it's kind of it's good. It comes full circle. And just before I hop into the clip, I'm just gonna just check the comments there. Yeah, should definitely try it with cabbage. It's good. Yeah, it's really popular over here. It's kind of just one of those. And then most of the places, even if you're ever on holiday over here and you go out, and most of the places, even in Dublin, like somewhere will have bacon and cabbage. Like they'll have all this sort of traditional Irish dinners, I suppose. You can even get roast dinners and stuff like. So. And thank you. People probably. I always so people get fed up of listening to me rambling on, but no, thank you. I'll get this clip up here. I'd like to get that banner out of the way. Now, so let's have a look at this clip here.
He's stealing everything.
Where you going, guys? Don't do this. Hey, stop it. Hey, this is not. Hey.
Oh, it's not worth it. Not worth it trying to challenge him.
Why are you letting him do that? This is disgusting. Nobody does this fucking. Nobody.
What's up, man? What's going on? Just put your hands like that for me. Okay. Well, just your back? No. You want to put the cigarette out for me, man? Come on. Thank you. I saw your bag. Cool. To the fair, man. Just do the fair. Just turn around. No. We're not good.
Stop. Why are you running? That's not my shit. So why are you running? Get on it. That's my shit, bro. Stop. That's not my shit, bro.
And what you said there is tell it to the judge that it's not your stuff. You know what I mean? You banged the rights, like you were caught on camera in the shop doing it. But I don't think it's good for those people to get involved. Like I said in the other video the other night, it's not worth it over whatever they're stealing, because you don't know how desperate the people are to get away, or if they just want to get away at all costs, and it's just not good to put yourself into that position. Yeah, no, I just say that SVSN, you must love malt vinegar crisps. I do. There was crisps that I liked here. You can still get them, but it's just in my local store. They're McCoy's crisps, but the salt and vinegar ones of those were really nice. And they used to have like a couple of different flavors in Tesco here. They used to have like a multi-packet with you got flame grilled steak, cheese and onion and salt and vinegar in it, I think. And then they had flame grilled steak, cheese and onion and salt and vinegar just on their own. And now all they have is flame grilled steak down there. I don't know where the salt and vinegar is gone. So if I see it, if I'm in the next town over, sometimes if I see it, I'll pick a couple of packets up or whatever. But kind of I would be a crisp person. And we call them, I call them crisps. I know a lot of people said chips. I'm trying to think Yeah, so I would call Doritos chips like tortilla chips, if you know what I mean. But potato would be crisps. I'd even call like minis a crisps. Stuff like, you know, like just skips. Like I suppose a lot of these names I'm throwing out there are probably like alien to people that are from Ireland. Like, because I don't know how many of these brands. I suppose like most of the potato brands are just here. Like we have waffles, skips, minis, snacks. Trying to think now. I'm going through all these different crisps. There's a couple of different other crisps. Like there's Tato, like let's say in plain cheese and onion crisp, you have Tato, you have King, Kyo's, O'Donnell's. There's definitely more. Walkers as well. Is another there. There's another brand that you can get crisps here as well. Walker's crisps. They're an English brand. Hula hoops. I'm just sitting here listing off a lot of sweets, a lot of crisps. I always fear that word. Am I pronouncing it right? Aioli. I think some guy actually ordered that. I think with garlic aioli. I hope I'm saying that right. That it was ordering in Subway there today. He ordered a sub, and then he had got the sub made, and like the salad was put on it and all. And then he said to the guy, "Could I get some meatballs?" And I thought he wanted like the meatballs dropped onto this already constructed sub. Like I was thinking, like, what? Are you even going to eat that? But no, he wanted them separate. So I just thought you guys needed to know that. Yeah. So that guy there does look like a perpetrator. Didn't get very far with his stuff though. Now another shoplifting clip here. Oh yeah. So this is heading to California for this clip. We're heading to pretty sure it's Watts. To the Nike store. I think that's what the lady in the clip says. I'm glad I got it right there, Brian. No, I've never tried it. Now I didn't know what it was like. Yeah, so it's kind of similar to mayonnaise. Like, yeah, you can't beat the potatoes. We like our potatoes over here. But contrary to popular belief, we do eat other things like bacon and cabbage. Yeah, and these people, these gentlemen in this are only seem to be only kids, you know, like teenagers or something like that. I think the lady even comments on that fact in the clip. So let's take a look at this.
I'm in shock. Look what? Oh my good loving.
Straight out the door. Not a bother.
In shock. They young as hell. They got trash bags in their pockets. They really taking the whole store. Security.
Why the worker looking at them?
Only in the fucking Nike store in Watts will the kids come in and rob, and they don't do absolutely nothing. They are filling up a whole bag. Do you hear me? She asked me if I want to save my card on file. Thank you. No.
Definitely don't save your card on file in there. It's probably hackers trying to hack in from outside. The free for all there, and see that's the thing. Like when she was saying there that the security don't seem to be, that nobody seems to be doing anything. Well, that they'll go off now and they'll tell their buddies, yeah, like we walked in a Nike store and just got bags of drip, so they'll all come down there, and it'll be the same thing again. But yeah, I just thought that was crazy. And as she was saying there, they were coming in with bags in their pockets just to open them out, start emptying stuff in, and just walk straight out the door. Like, what's the point of stores even bothering with security, with putting security tags on or anything like that, when they just don't care? And that's the problem. Like, and by the time the police would have got there, I suppose those guys would have been like well gone up the road. So I just don't know. Not good to be kind of at that age getting into that sort of crime. But yeah. Here's a little clip of some thieves in Birmingham in the UK, and they get quite a surprise for themselves. I think they're trying to break into a restaurant or something here. This is only a very short clip, but it is quite satisfying clip all the same, because they're not expecting to get their comeuppance. I think that was a fire extinguisher. I'm not 100% sure. I'm gonna have to look again. Can we slow that clip down? Yeah, man, trying to kick the door in, like, but they're in there, like. Oh, do you know what it is? It's scalding water. That's steam. I just have to cop in that now. That's like scalding water. It's a pot of scalding water they're after throwing over him. I'm gonna have to realizing that. Oh, he won't do that again. That's one way to bring the heat on yourself. I had to get a pun in there, but yeah, and that's the thing, Brian. There, you'll see that happen, right? They'll close loads of stores down, like, and maybe people won't care so much if it's a Nike store or it's or whatever, like, but when it starts being like the Walmart or the Target or whatever like that, when it's like, the local grocery place, and they're closing down, people having to travel further afield then to get their groceries, then the local communities will be complaining, then obviously that's not good. But like, I don't agree with people like challenging these people if they see them in a store, like other customers. But I do think that, like, more needs to be done about it, obviously, and that, like, we can't get into that situation where, like, as we're looking in these clips where people are walking in, they're able to just walk out with bags full of stuff and nobody says anything, and it's just like, if everybody did that, and there'd be just chaos, like, But like, that's the way it's going, isn't it? Though it's just like it's getting more and more brazen, and I just don't see an end to it, especially with the way things are going. In terms of like the cost of everything, costs are increasing, and more people are going to be out there either looking for stuff cheap, like, clothing or food items or whatever, or electronics, or people are going to be out trying to rob them to sell them to make money. But yeah, not good. I think that's all the thievery clips that I had there. I have a couple. I'll tell you what's there now. This is actually this is just a totally random clip, but I just thought it was fairly scary as well. Like I wouldn't like to be this guy, but this is a guy on a canoe. I think it's a canoe or a kayak. Not 100% sure. One or the other. And Jaws decides to pay him a visit. Quite unnerving for this guy. Brian saying, especially in places like California where there is no charge for shoplifting under $1,000 in value. And that's another thing too, in some of those situations, you know, where it's not over a certain dollar amount. And then, like, I understand, like, in certain places or whatever, like, or probably in most places now, the police are kind of stretched for their resources. And it's kind of, maybe it's a case of prioritizing, you know what I mean? Like, well, we're not going after, like, you know, if there's people robbing a couple of, you know, things of makeup or something in a store, like throwing them in their bag or something, the police maybe aren't going to rush out to that when there's other stuff going on. But, you know, I suppose it's like to say it's the little things. What was that thing? I think it was actually in New York. Remember when there was loads of crime in New York? I think it was back in the 80s. And they brought in that policy of, like, I think it was like, they called it like a broken window policy or something like that. It was basically like, it starts off like, you know, with a broken window in a building, and then people say, oh, look, that's abandoned. And then there's people getting it, start squatting in it, and then that attracts the wrong people and this, that, and the other. And, you know, it starts off as something small, and then it snowballs into bigger crime. So you can see that kind of happening there. They kind of let people away with the little stuff, and then it escalates. People say, oh, well, I'm getting away with this, and we'll just do this and we'll just do that, and then it just kind of it gets out of hand. Like, I play this little clip here. This is a guy getting a surprise.
Ah! Tiger shark! Tiger shark ran me. Holy.
He didn't ram you. He tried to eat your boat. He wanted a bite of that. Where his jaw had came up. Yeah, that's actually scary to think. You know, if you're holding on to the side of the thing there, and then he had just came up and, or even his foot down there. That's scary. Like, that's even scary. It's like a lot of people like do that, like that are into that. If they had like their young kids, like they might bring them out, and like if it's smaller kayak or canoe with less weight in it, like with the kid, like it could easily be tipped over by the shark or something. But I just thought that was pretty scary there. I'll just play the clip again there, but yeah, I wouldn't like that. No, that put me off. I'd be going straight back to land.
Ah!
He's good force in that, like.
Tiger shark!
He even comes back.
Tiger shark
like,
ran me. Holy.
It's like he comes back, you know, like he rams it, and then he gets another bite at it. Like, you have the initial ram, and then you have the bite. It's crazy, like. And obviously there's Hawaii nearshore fishes, so it's obviously off the coast of Hawaii there. But yeah, no, that's just too scary for me. I think especially I worked at a Walmart, and I got pulled into the security office as like a 13-year-old girl stole makeup and chips. What, like, did you got pulled into the office like about that, or? Or you mean a 13-year-old girl got caught stealing makeup and chips? It's not good as well if you're starting off doing that sort of thing, you know, like, and then it kind of goes unchecked, let's say. Like, I suppose the best thing that can happen in some of those situations is if, you know, like, it's a kid starts doing something like that and then they get caught early on doing that. You want to be kind of getting away with it for a while. Here's a clip, right? This is of I wouldn't really call it it's not much of a pursuit as such, but there's a guy, right, and like, well, we'll just look at the clip there. So this is in the city of Atlanta, Georgia. Let me just get this up there now.
Shit, you close?
Yeah, I'm at the light right now. Where y'all at?
Pulling in right now. Tell him to get behind it, or we'll get behind it. One of y'all get behind it. They're right there. Yo, get out, car! Watch out! Watch out!
I just want to pause there for 1 second now. You've seen now this gentleman has refused to stop. They've also said at the start of this that this is a stolen vehicle that they've been looking for. So you'd assume like the guy driving the vehicle, you know, knows what's going on here. Like, do you know what I mean? So statements to come out of his mouth don't match reality.
Get out of the car! Get out of the car! Get out of the car! Get the fuck out of the car! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! I'm down, bro! What y'all doing to me? What y'all doing to me? What y'all doing to me? Are you fucking stupid? What's wrong with you? I'm not stupid.
Like, you can even tell the frustration in an officer's voice. Like, are you effing stupid? You know, like, are you kidding me? Like, what are you doing to me? Like, you literally rammed a police car and you were flying around petrol pumps, driving dangerously in a stolen vehicle, failing to stop. Well, like, what do you expect them to do? Like, bring you a bouquet of flowers, a box of chocolates or something, and then invite you down to the station in your own time, like, or something? I don't understand.
What y'all doing to me? Help! 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 What I do though? No, I do not. What I do?
What did I do?
I know I did that, but why y'all putting up on me like that for? You just hit a car. I know that I
Ultimate
did that hit and
denial.
run. Okay, we understand the hit part.
Calvin Bailey was charged with theft by receiving, fleeing and eluding, hit and run, and various traffic violations. He should have been charged with outrageousness as well for like even asking what did I do? Like, I just don't understand that. Like how people can play like he's trying to play the victim there. That like how dare the police handle me like this? Yeah, I just
I'm on. And what I do for y'all pull up on me like that?
Have a seat, man.
Scream, sir. Can you tell why I pull up?
Give me your name.
yeah, I'm lost for words there. You know, that's ultimate denial. Like, why did you pull up on me? Like, you can tell the script is going to be then. I didn't know the vehicle was stolen. I got an end of it off a buddy. And other such excuses. But yeah, Actually, we'll stay in Atlanta for the next clip. Actually, that's what we'll do. We'll stay in Atlanta, and we're going to have a look at a drug bust. Might as well stay in Atlanta instead of increasing our carbon footprint too much. It's about to make an error there. A 67 white stang says love garlic, love onions. I love garlic. I'm not the biggest fan of onions. I don't mind onions, but I wouldn't be their biggest fan, I suppose. But I'm not an onion hater. I don't mind onion. I was about to make an error there, and I was about to play the video without actually putting it up in the stream.
That car hasn't been cleared. Hold on. Open the door!
Open the door!
Hands in the
Hands in
air!
the air! Hands in the air! Stay right there! Stay right there! Hands up! Hands up!
Wretched door keeps trying to close.
Get on the ground. Get on your knees.
Blue shoes.
Crawl on all floors.
Y'all got good eyes? Is anybody else inside
Keep crawling. Keep crawling. Who? Your son? All right.
Keep crawling.
Keep crawling.
Shirt, start crawling. Black shirt, who else is inside? Keep crawling.
Can you see your enemy?
Yeah, you're good. I can't see behind that door.
That's fine. Keep crawling. Keep crawling. Keep crawling. Watch your backs. Watch your backs. Oh, you got shield up. You're good.
Bring it down. Bring it down. Take it down. Get him out the way. Get him out the way. Come on.
Come on. Keep crawling. Keep crawling.
They're not really messing around with these guys anyway, and like this to me looks like that these guys definitely like aren't actually living in this house as such, because maybe like I'm being a bit too judgy there, but when we see inside the house here, it looks like it is just being used as sort of a, I don't know, a drug den, I suppose. Maybe that's why they're raiding it in such a manner. Like,
Crawling. Keep crawling.
Keep crawling. Then what you got on my side? Closed door. Left side. All right, we're gonna have to lock this first part down. We're probably gonna need more support.
quite a haul there. With the weaponry there, so it's like no wonder they were kind of going in that way. So they got 1,867.5 grams of cocaine, 432.8 grams of methamphetamine, 427.1 grams of fentanyl, 87.4 grams of marijuana, 40 grams of heroin, 11.3 grams of ecstasy pills, 3 firearms, and 1,880 in cash. Seeing there that with the fentanyl, a thing that I'd seen recently as well was that whole thing that's going off with that crisis with Trank, that's nasty stuff altogether. Like when you think fentanyl is bad and all, but this is worse, and then they're even mixing it with that, and it has like it can rot your flesh and all that. It's really bad. I don't even know how people are actually can put that into themselves when that I know people fall down the hole of addiction and all, and that you know, I suppose it's easy for us to say, oh, how could you put that into you, because it, but I find it hard how people start doing that, like, you know, and I suppose a lot of it depends on your circumstances, your background and stuff like that, but you know, it's that stuff that's there now, that this Trank that they're going on about, that's really bad. Like that is it is some sort of like animal tranquilizer or something. I think that's where it's getting its name from, but yeah, just nasty stuff.
Huh? Yeah, close door left side, fourth left corner. It's good. There is a 69 knife right there. Okay. Then I get me +2.
You got 2.
On me. On you.
One thing I want to say as well is I always find that, you know, when these people get into, I'm just making sure my mic's turned back on. I was just making sure there. Yeah, that's what I was talking about there at 67 White Stang is xylazine, or they're calling it trank, or what, that's the slang name for a trank, but it's xylazine. That's, I couldn't think of the name of it. That's the, just like a veterinary medicine or something like that. And yeah, and what they're even doing now is they're lacing that with the fentanyl, and it's like it's making it even more potent. But like I can't believe some of the, like, if you see some of the people that are like, you know, on this, like it's like I've seen zombie people, like, you know, on drugs and all before, but this is like another level of zombie. Like these people are bent over in the streets. It's just like they're floating. You know, it's yeah, it's mad. Like, you know, and the thing is, like, I know there's certain drugs out there. If people take them, they can kind of, you know, like they can kind of go psychotic or something, and they can, you know, you'd be afraid to be around them. But like with some of these, once they get these things into them, these people are out. You know what I mean? And that's another thing. Like, you know, they seem to be practically unconscious. It's that strong. You know, it's yeah, it's nasty. But what I was just gonna say here about, like, with this guy, it says he's 49-year-old. So, you know, this man's nearly 50 years of age. Like, you know, he could be a father or whatever. Like, but what I'm saying is he probably got into this sort of a lifestyle when he was young, and judging by the fact that he's there with that weaponry and all there, it seems like he's been kind of around dangerous people and weaponry and stuff like that for quite some time. So isn't he kind of lucky he's still on the go and nothing's happened to him as such? Like, you know, to be 49 years of age and still kind of messing around with that sort of stuff. Like, when do you give it up? I've often thought that, like, when do these people just decide, like, you know, when do you get too old to be running around doing that? Like, and then what do you do? Like, have you been saying, like, has he been putting money away for his retirement? I doubt it. You know what I mean? Like, what are you supposed to do? Like, um, you know, there's no future plan. Like, and then even if he did have money stashed away, like, how can he legitimize it? You know, like when he wants to go legit and retire or whatever you want to call it. Um, you know, it's not really. There's no exit strategy there. Um, And 6 7 White Stacks, and I've watched videos of people on xylazine. Some have open wounds and even had amputations using that. I'm in Kingston, PA. They call it, or in Kingston. I thought you said I'm in Kingston, PA. In Kingston, PA. They call it Zombieland. You're like a zombie for a couple of hours, and when you come out, you immediately go, yeah. And that's thing. The videos from there are absolutely unreal. Um, it's a whole another world, like when you see the way the people are, like, on that. And yeah, that's what I've said, that the wounds, and then it like the bacteria that, or you know, it eats your flesh or whatever, and it can, like, that causes sepsis and stuff, and end up, like you're saying, having amputations and stuff like that. And then they're even worse off, obviously, because now if you're back out on the streets and you're an amputee or something like that, it's going to be even tougher for you. And you'd probably fall further down the hole of addiction and stuff like that, which is it's really bad, like, you know. But I don't know if I have the, I was looking at yeah, I had this because I was going to talk about this in a thing before, in a stream before. So they're saying, like, one person is dying of an overdose every 5 minutes in America, and more than 70,000 people a year are already being killed by the opioid fentanyl. It's now being mixed with something even more deadly, which is literally rotting people's skin. This for Sky News investigation, and it found a community decimated and healthcare workers struggling to cope. Um, so they're calling Philadelphia now the new ground zero. For this sort of thing, and they're saying that public health officials are alarmed by its spread and concerned by the horrific wounds it causes on the bodies of those who use it. And I'm obviously I'm not going to show any of that on the stream, because not only is it's bad, like, you know what I mean, but it would probably get the stream removed afterwards, like, you know, for for that on it. Like, it's not very nice. Like, but there is on that article. If anybody's interested in seeing it, if you just type in Trank, TRANQ, and then like Sky News or something, you'll get the. I think they probably have a series of articles on it, but you will see they have some video on it. But yeah, exactly like you're saying there. Like 67 White Stang is saying. I just lost the comment there now. I just had the. Is saying that they use it for a horse sedative, and they're also saying here to use in horses and cows. But dealers know that if they cut it with fentanyl, it extends the hit beyond the semi-conscious state. The drug induces it literally rots people's skin. Raw wounds erupt into scaly crust of dead tissue called eschar or escar, which, if untreated, can lead to amputation. The use of Trank in Philadelphia has risen in recent years, and the city's public health department recently found xylazine in every sample of drugs tested. While the sample of 39 was small, health experts are alarmed at the trend and the wounds that they're seeing on people. So yeah, so they go into a couple of different stories on that of different people. So there's one guy, Zach is one guy who served in the US Army in Iraq and relapsed during the pandemic. He lives in Kensington in Philadelphia, the neighborhood at the center of Philadelphia's drug crisis. He hasn't seen his son, who lives nearby, for 6 months. So obviously this is the thing as well about helping the veterans as well, to not let them, a lot of them are dealing with a lot of stuff when they come back from having been deployed, and they can't be let fall through the cracks and then end up like this guy here, where he's ended up on the streets, and he's in a bad way. Now he's on probably one of the worst things he could be on. And I just see 67 White Stangs, and yeah, it's on Vice also on there. Because I haven't seen any of their reports on it, but I'm definitely going to check that out now that you've said it, because some of their reporting does be very good. This guy Zach, who's the Iraq veteran, said that I need to be arrested or put into a rehab far away, or even knocked out and dragged away from Kensington. I just need to get out of here. The place eats everything that's good. All that joy you had in your heart, you're going to change, because this place forces you to change. It was once $10 a bag. It was still brown, which was heroin he's talking about. None of this stuff that's going around here now, all the craziness. At first it was cut with fentanyl, but it was good. You weren't getting high because it was fentanyl. Oh, you were getting high because it was fentanyl. As soon as Trank came, that was the end of any kind of joy that I got out of using. Another guy called Sam, who said he suffered substance abuse since he was 14. And by his calculations, he has spent years of his life in and out of treatment, and none of it has worked. He's now 28 years old. So, 14 years ago, he kind of started down on this path. And it says every day that I'm out here takes another piece of my values, my soul, my essence of who I am is getting lost. Trank is basically zombifying people's bodies. Until 9 months ago, I never had wounds. Now there are holes in my legs and feet. Just cleaning them is so painful. The wound care truck put on band-aids, but I kept them on for a week in the rain, and it all looked 100 times worse. And that's the thing as well, to have like even healthcare workers, so they go out and outreach to these people, where they'll go around and they'll try clean these people's wounds, so they don't get to the point where they go septic and need an amputation done. But yeah, it's really bad there. That guy saying, I come from a family, one of 6 children. I'm the only addict. I wasn't home for Christmas. I was in hospital, and that's quite sad. He said all my siblings were home from school, and I'm in rehab, maybe the 50th time's the charm. I've had every opportunity to get out. In the past 5 months, my parents have sent me to treatment at least 7 times, but I haven't been able to detox off Trank. It's the mixture of it all, the fentanyl with the Trank. These places don't detox you for the Trank because they're so behind on the times. probably behind on the times because things move so fast in that sort of world. You know, it's like with the internet, like things move so fast online and with the internet that it's hard for authorities and governments to keep up with what's going on, to keep legislation up to date with it. And it's probably the same here. You know, with these centres and hospitals and all that, they're just not equipped for it, and plus they're under resourced, especially when it comes to the mental health aspect of it. A lot of these people are probably using because of mental health problems. When you think about it, you know, a lot of things comes from trauma earlier on in their childhood or in their life, where things just haven't worked out, and it's they're carrying this thing, turn to drugs, and then you end up in this cycle of destruction, I suppose you could say. No, I just had to say there, Kiwi Davis joined us again. I was wondering where you had went off to there that time. I just hadn't seen you there. I think Roisin had headed off as well there. I don't think you've missed out on too much. We were just we've been talking about what have we been talking about? We watched a couple of clips there, and we were just kind of talking. We were watching one there about a drug bust in Atlanta, and just because they see some fentanyl there, I kind of got me into this topic of the trank that's going around there in Philadelphia. And I was just kind of looking at this article that's Sky. I didn't want to show the thing because there's some images in it of these wounds and stuff like that. But this guy was basically just saying that like all the detox places, he's been in now a detox like 7 times in the last 5 months, and at least 7 times, and he's just saying that like the places are so behind and under equipped, it's just hard for him to get off it, you know. He's saying it's a mixture of it all. Oh, you know, I read that bit. Sorry. I saying you see people that are here that are a shell of themselves. They're living their life in 2 minutes at a time because that's all that matters. I'm lucky there's still fight left in me, and that is, I suppose, powerful. I suppose when you say it like that, it says you see people that are a shell of themselves. They're living their life 2 minutes at a time because that's all that matters. I suppose he's referring to the fact that they're getting a hit, like. I'm glad he still has some sort of hope for himself, where he's saying, I'm lucky they're still fighting me. So hopefully he is able to get help for that. But it's mad, like, you know. And there's another. This says Danielle's her name. She's a mother of 3. She said until a couple of years ago, Danielle worked as a certified recovery specialist to support people in rehab. She said that she was clean for 8 years. Then she relapsed 2 years ago. Sounds about around the time of the pandemic, same as when the other guy said he relapsed. I wonder what that was. Is it the shutting down of services, and then these people are kind of just left to their own devices for I suppose months on end? Maybe it was stuff like that. There was no outreach because, you know, things were all locked down, like, and then people like fell back into those traps again. Or maybe it was the isolation of being like, you know, not being able to meet up with people or whatever. She was saying she was working at an outpatient rehab when a male client who was obsessed with her broke into her apartment and tried to kill her. The wounds on my arms are bad. The best thing to do is wrap them, use soapy water, and keep them clean. The air is so dirty it makes my face break out if I touch it. That's crazy. So somebody she was caring for, and outpatients at the rehab, tried to like take her out. So obviously she was traumatized from that. She said they say when you relapse it's worse than when you first start using, and that's so true. I was in jail 8 months ago, so I had no choice but to detox. I was banging my head off walls, hoping to knock myself out because it was so bad. It was the worst I've ever felt. It's so dangerous out here. I was held at knife point on the train yesterday. I was crying all day. I have no idea what to do. Like, that's so sad. Like that. Like, not only is it bad to be addicted to drugs or whatever, but that particular drug as well seems to be absolutely like destroying people. Like, if you're saying I was banging my head off walls hoping to knock myself out because it was so bad, like they coming down off it, like, That's insane, like. Yeah, that's the thing as well. Like, and I know in certain circumstances, like some families do all they can for people, and then they get to a stage where they can't do anymore, or it's affecting them, so badly that it's having a knock-on effect on their life, and you kind of, I know it's a hard decision, and it's not one that like I'd ever like to have to be put in a position to to make a decision like that, but where you'd have to turn your back on somebody because they just don't want help, or they just can't be helped, or they're having some negative effect on you. But it is sad, especially for like parents seeing their children kind of turn to that. And then even what that lady's saying there about the fact that she it's just that like she was saying it's the worst she's ever felt, and that she's hoping to knock herself out because it was so bad. Like, it's just, and then getting robbed. It's just that you're dealing with that, and then there's all this other stuff that's going on. And I see Esme saying about ketamine, and that's another one where there's a lot of young people using that now. It's kind of like another thing, like it's not good. Like, it's another like veterinary product that people are using. I don't know why people would even do that though. Like, I don't know. 67 White Stang saying I started reading about all these drugs because I was trying to help an in-law. It was awful to say. I'd well imagine that, like, especially especially if it's someone close to you, a family member or a friend or something like that, that's gets in on that sort of thing. And when you've seen somebody, at their best, and then they fall down that hole, and then you see, someone that was really like, outgoing and, whatever, and they're just like a zombie going around, like, it is tough, like. But they're saying doctors are saying that they've never seen wounds like these before. And then in this article, is saying Dr. Andrew Best is Philadelphia's substance use prevention and harm reduction chief, and cities across the US have contacted him for guidance on how to deal with the infiltration of xylazine. And right now, there's no state or federal funding available to mitigate some of the challenges and harms associated with xylazine. And a lot of individuals have never seen these wounds before. They don't heal as fast as a normal wound, and sometimes they can last for months, even years, and in severe cases require amputations. I don't want this to spread to other cities, but I also want other cities to be able to learn from what we've been doing here. And then somebody's there saying a quote saying, "I'm too angry to cry at funerals." Wound care volunteer with the Everywhere Project, which hosts a weekly drop-in session in Kensington to provide hot food and wound care. Jeremy is volunteer there, who says, "For me, it's about the way someone's eyes change when they are treated with humility and compassion like real humans. There's also the bonus of seeing people get better with the care they need. One of the ladies I've worked with had a wound that took over her whole forearm. Within about 2 weeks, it had decreased by about half. She's now got a job and is doing really well. Those are small victories. Those are the small victories that we get to relish in. It's a great feeling." And Ronnie Kaiser, which is a lady that's involved with a group called Angels in Motion. And Ronnie is the president of the local community outreach group. Her brother died of an accidental heroin overdose nearly 3 decades ago, and she herself is also in recovery. She said, "You find really intelligent people down there, a lot of them with high IQs. Maybe that has something to do with addiction. I don't know. Addiction is a mental health issue. It's not a criminal issue. Our brains tell us to breed. Their brain tells them to breed and get drugs or you will die." Maybe not those exact words, but she said, "You know what I mean." But that's the feeling. If I don't have this, I'm going to die. I'm going to be sick. I no longer cry at funerals. I don't have any tears left. I'm too angry that there's not enough help for these people. And they're saying like it's yeah, so they're saying here so they agreed to let Sky News come out with them on the street, like, you know, to see what was going on. And they were just saying that they said Ronnie and Don agreed to allow us to join them on these dangerous streets and to meet people to help on condition that we agreed to their ground rules. They wanted us to spend proper time with them to understand the challenges that they face. They wanted us to hear in detail the stories of those that they are helping, and they reminded us of the difference between consent and informed consent when identifying those who are using drugs. But most importantly, they said, don't dehumanize people. Too often, the volunteers in Kensington have been horrified by the phenomenon they call trauma porn. YouTubers and tabloid media have published images from Kensington with little context and no sensitivity. It was easy to agree with their conditions. The world they exposed to us was devastating and shocking. America is so often defined by two words, hope and opportunity, yet on these streets of Philadelphia we found so little of either. So that's a quite interesting article there, and it goes to show you how bad this trank is now, this xylazine that they're starting to use. Hello to Joe, who's joined us there. Good to see you. Yeah, and it is good to see some coverage of this, you know, and that it's being put out there, that like and even to see like that those people are being listened to hear their stories and why they're on the streets, and like what, you know, hopefully it serves as a warning to other people not to go down that road, but also it signals the alarm bells to people that are in positions to do something about it, to try to clean up the problem. Oh, happy birthday to you, Joe. I hope you're having a great day. Our channel birthday here was actually just in the middle of June, but between one thing and another, we've only ended up having the birthday stream now. My own birthday is in June as well, at the beginning of June. So my birthday, the channel's birthday, and then we have Joel's birthday at the start of July. Yeah, get people out of that area, I suppose, would be the main thing. Try get them away from that, because you know you don't want people like going into treatment, ending up on the same streets with the same people, and end up going down the same road again. And Kiwi Davis saying, as much as there isn't enough help, it's also that you can only help the ones that want help. But when the drugs are so accessible, like candy in a candy store, it's too easy to relapse. That's true. Need to clean it up, the area, like, you know, so the people that are selling the drugs in the area, get them out of there, get the people into treatment. You know, I know it's easier said than done, I suppose, but yeah, exactly what you're saying there. If it's too easy there, and then as well, like if people don't want to be helped, there are people out there that genuinely want help, and then there are others out there. I don't know what it is. It's, you know, I know everybody wants to, you know, like nobody wants to be down in the dumps like that in that sort of a situation, and I think maybe it's just to get to the point where they just feel like there is no hope, and that's why they don't want help, because they feel like the help's not going to help really, like, you know, like that guy was saying, at least that guy still has faith that something's going to happen, that he's actually going to get off the stuff, like. But yeah, so yeah, obviously, like the xylazine is only approved by the US Food and Drug Administration for veterinary use only, but it's now the biggest public health threat since the start of the opioid crisis. It says its dangerous side effects include repressed breathing, slow heart rate, and dangerously low blood pressure levels, which cannot be reversed by naloxone or Narcan, the now common medication that rapidly reverses opioid overdose. The potential for xylazine-related fatalities is significant, given the research from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention showing that 107,735 Americans died from drug poisonings between August 2021 and August 2022. 66% from synthetic opioids such as fentanyl. 107,000 people in a year. I just had to read that again to make sure I was reading that correctly. 107,735 Americans died from drug poisonings between August 2021 and August 2022. 66% from synthetic opioids. That's absolutely mad. How is there that many people? Like, it's more than a crisis. Like, if there's that numbers of people that are dying from drug poisonings. I can't believe those figures. It says xylazine is making the deadliest drug threat our country ever faced. Fentanyl even deadlier. Xylazine can also cause irreversible open wounds. That's what we were saying. That can rot skin tissue and cause infections beyond the syringe injection site, which can result in amputations. It says Matthew Salzman, assistant professor at Cooper University Hospital, said that nothing compares to the damage the xylazine does to the human skin. In his 20 years as an emergency medical physician, he said the wounds are worse than I've ever seen. Historically, infections from injection drug use are not uncommon. We see patients with abscesses, skin infections, HIV, hepatitis C, but these soft tissue wounds with xylazine are different from anything prior or to just a year or 2 years ago. A number of his patients are terribly malnourished, which makes their wounds harder to heal, as do the behaviors of opioid use disorder itself. I've had multiple patients tell me that they've actually continued to inject right into the wounds or right around the wound. What healthcare providers are saying in Camden very much mirrors what is going on in Philadelphia. Where's this? I'm just trying to see where that was. Okay, this is Cooper University Hospital. He says where xylazine use has become prevalent and where a number of his patients obtain their drugs, especially in Kensington. But the truth is there's been a huge uptick in the presence of xylazine in the street supply in New Jersey. The DEA is saying that the administration has already taken steps to slow the progression of xylazine use, which has been abused nationwide. The DEA has seized xylazine and fentanyl mixtures of 48 of 50 states. And the DEA laboratory system is reporting that in 2022, approximately 23% of fentanyl powder and 7% of fentanyl pills seized by the DEA contain xylazine. The DA's announcement follows on the heels of the US Food and Drug Administration's restriction of illegal imports of xylazine nearly a month ago. Yeah, but crazy. I just don't know how people are going to get away from that unless something's done drastically. I'm just going to catch up on a few comments there. Yeah, being in the same area is definitely a bad idea. Yeah, that's never good. That's never good with the mixing it with marijuana and all, because that's just starting to creep it into other people. You know what I mean? Like, and it's starting to, make more people get involved with it, especially since it's so addictive. There's 67 white stacks out. They're starting to test out testing stripes, test strips for people to test for different drugs. And domestically, the world has gone crazy. It just gets getting crazier by the minute. Well, 67 white stanks. I'm just saying, my in-law on drugs. No way would I ever want to go through that. But I would never judge him, and that's good though. Like, if you know what I mean, it's like, people make mistakes and all, and everyone has a different story, I suppose. And but it's nice that, like, you were there for them, and the fact that you were actually looking into these things and all in order to try get them some help, like. And that's the thing. Sometimes people just need that one person there that cares, when everybody else is kind of giving up on them, and I can kind of keep them from falling over the edge altogether. And Joe's saying, I work as a contractor for the DEA here in the DC Beltway, and I don't want to get too nosy in what exactly you do, but would you have like any like knowledge of this sort of topic? Like, would that be something you'd be dealing with that sort of with that side of things? I don't want to be too prying there, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I suppose that's the thing. Like, Kiwi Dave saying, it's too late now to be sourcing the next drug of choice. It's like when I was only hearing about fentanyl and all, and how bad that was becoming and stuff. This came along, and it's like, this is even worse, and it'll be something else, And just daily broadcast emails about the problem, and then so I suppose you kind of like would have noticed the upsurge kind of in that sort of thing with xylazine now as well. But just crazy. I just don't understand, like, how things have gotten so crazy. Like, and is it to do with like the mental health situation, where there's not enough help and then people are turning to substances to kind of escape or whatever? Maybe we kind of have to look at there to try get more services for people, Joe saying, often talk about one pill can kill problem that we are having. Is that like those, like the xylazine or the fentanyl tablets mixed with xylazine, that kind of that one pill can kill sort of thing? And domestic nursing, I'm dealing with a West Nile brain, and every few years they test my brain. The standard tests include drugs. It used to be rare that such tests were ever done. Oh, that's terrible. And I hope you're doing okay. Yeah, it's just crazy the way things are going. I'm just looking at the link that you sent there, Joe. So it's saying that this is interesting. And thanks for that, Joe. It's saying that DA fentanyl seizures in 2023. It says in 2022, the DEA seized more than 58.3 million fentanyl-laced fake pills and more than 13,000 pounds of fentanyl powder. The 2022 seizures are the equivalent to more than 387 million lethal doses of fentanyl. That's crazy. The 2023 fentanyl seizures represent over 167.8 million deadly doses. So far they've seized 40,500,000 plus millions of fentanyl pills seized. 5,600 pounds of fentanyl powder seized. And then it says every 2 micrograms of fentanyl equates to a potential deadly dose. It says the US Drug Enforcement Administration is alerting the public of a sharp nationwide increase in the lethality of fentanyl-laced fake prescription pills. The DEA laboratory has found that of the fentanyl-laced fake prescription pills analyzed in 2022, 6 out of 10 now contain a potentially lethal dose of fentanyl. And this is an increase from the DEA's previous announcement in 2021 that 4 out of 10 fentanyl-laced fake prescription pills were found to contain a potentially lethal dose. That's madness, isn't it? And then they have a thing here where they're showing you, like, they're saying, can you spot the fake? Never trust your own eyes to determine if a pill is legitimate. The only safe medications are ones prescribed by a trusted medical professional and dispensed by a licensed pharmacist. And they're showing you, like, these different, like, tablets to see the difference. And to be honest, like, you know, people are probably, like, out there buying these off street dealers or whatever, you know, these fake pills, like, and probably buying them at not more knockdown prices as well than if they were prescribed. But yeah, that's not good at all. Like, especially like with the people are vulnerable enough, like when they're on some of these tablets and all, and then they're being sold these fakes with laced. So it's saying the deadly dose, 2 micrograms, which is the amount. So basically 2 micrograms, right? So they're showing you the example. Actually, I should have actually. What am I doing? I should have put it up on the screen, Joe. I don't know what I'm doing here. Oh yeah, that's why. Just 1 second. Oh yeah, I can just do this. Just having a technical malfunction here for 1 second. No, I just had to now, sorry guys for this. What I'll do is I'm going to pop that up on the screen just there now in a sec. I'm just going to play out the end of this video.
I'm clear back here.
All right. We're either having to take y'all's door or we're going to eat some of this. Hey, get up on this. Get up on this. No, don't sit on this.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Hey, we get this going.
Yeah. Can you work it?
Yeah, so yeah, I just want to finish the end of that clip there to get it out of the way. And then I can share. Yeah, so this is what I was reading there from a second ago. I'm just going to go back into the chat on the phone here so I can keep up with any comments there. So I was down here. So yeah, these are, can you spot the fake? So they're showing you like these different the different fake tablets there, and then they're saying a deadly dose, 2 micrograms. The amount on the tip of this pencil can be enough to kill an average American. Look how small the amount is. Like, These people are out there taking that, you know, day in, day out. Definitely, Joseph, don't buy your pill on Facebook. 100% don't. And yeah, we just missed a few comments there. Domestic terror saying it's like having early Alzheimer's and no one knows if it's progressive. The MRIs and EEGs show damage throughout my brain. They still test me. That's terrible though, the way they're not able to tell you like if it's you know what way it's going to go and all. And then I suppose having all these scans and tests done all the time could be quite, you know, exhausting. Yeah, I know. I'd probably like tested for addictions because from the medication that you're on for that or something, was it? Yeah, that's another thing Dave's just said. It doesn't help the education system. All supposed to head in the sand instead of trying to educate the youth over issues like this. Yeah, instead of like, you know, going on tangents about other things, like they kind of should be educating, especially even teenagers, you know, because it's that sort of age people start kind of getting into that sort of thing, dabbling with that sort of stuff. Like, you know, with like lower end of stuff like it all. It kind of educate people at a younger age, yeah, for that sort of stuff. Yeah, no, it is worrisome. Domestic terror. Um, yeah, it's like they're saying. You think the drug dealers want to keep their drugs pure so they can get repeat business instead of potentially killing their customers. It seems very counterproductive, doesn't it? But of course, like they're just betting on more people becoming addicted and continuing it on with new customers. Oh no way! Domestic terror saying got bit by a damn mosquito at night while I was sleeping. That's terrible, unfortunate. And what is this? Just a thing that's like it's just come from the mosquito bite, like. Yeah, definitely need to like Dave and the 67 White Stang said, they definitely need to kind of educate in the schools more about especially the new drugs that are coming out, like with the way these things are. I know they're not new substances or whatever, but the way they're being used and abused now is new. Um, I hope you're doing much better now, domestic terror. And Joe saying they transport the crap trying to look like regular meds, but the supply chain becomes intermingled and a person gets the mule pill instead of the normal one. That's dangerous altogether. Yeah, mosquitoes are they're notoriously bad, and especially they're so small. Like if you know what I mean, it's not like you know they fly up to you. Like they can even you know when you're not like you're not like aware of it happening. It's yeah, they're terrible. Like I remember like when I was working in a clothing shop, they used to sell a lot of outdoor clothing and all. They used to have a lot of I actually have one jumper there. It's just I like the jumper. I didn't buy it for the mosquito repellent properties of it, but it's one of those, you know, a mosquito. It's one of those like t-shirt things that like they're not supposed to be able to bite through it or whatever. But or and it's yeah, it's something to do with whatever way the material's woven or whatever. But um yeah, they used to sell all stuff like that and all for like people that were going out, you know, like to like more exotic places and stuff like that to go hiking and stuff. And yeah, and like and people do take it very seriously, like especially when they're going out like out foreign country or out to somewhere that's kind of, you know, where there's a lot of mosquitoes and stuff. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, the Mr. and window screens are not mosquito proof. The grid is too large. Yeah, they're kind of able to squeeze through them. And then Dave is saying the problem is that with society like it is currently, someone would be offended and then the school can't teach it anymore. And that's the thing, like, you know, there's all sorts of debates going on about, you know, about what's being taught in schools and this, that, and the other and stuff. And you know, when it comes to stuff like this is like, you know, it should be like basic stuff that are being told about, like, you know, educating yourself about this. And I know, like, you know, you say, oh well, like when they get older they'll, you know, not do this. It's like when they're teenagers and they don't know like the dangers of, you know, some of these tablets and all that, like the people, like, you know, lads might be selling these tablets and there mightn't be legitimate tablets. There might be these like fake ones that are laced with like xylazine and fentanyl, and then they're not just getting a like you see there, they're not just getting a Xanax or an Adderall or whatever. They're actually getting something laced, like, you know. Then of course when they're brought to the hospital, I suppose, and people say, oh well, they only took this or they only took that, and of course, like, you know, the we find out after that it was laced or whatever. Oh no way, domestic her. Uh, Well, that's terrible. It's crazy what one little insect can do, and it can cause so much damage. Like 67 Mice thing saying, I just seen the other day called a killing mosquito ring. You put water that attracts them and kills the larvae and the adult mosquitoes. Crotch goblins. I've never heard that one before. Yeah, that's a new one now. So what was that one? There was another term I heard the other day. I think it's a new term. Oh yeah, there's another one I seen. I seen somebody call somebody on Twitter an edge lord the other day. I said, an edge lord? What in God's name is that? I said, I said here, and I only had to look it up. It says an edge lord is someone on an internet forum who deliberately talks about controversial, offensive, taboo, or nihilistic subjects in order to shock other users in an effort to appear cool or edgy. Like that has to be a brand new term. Like I've never heard that in my life before. Yeah, he was calling some lad an edgelord, and I said, like, what is that like? Yeah, so some of them, like I find there's like not all young people, like there's some young people out there that do have some respect and all that, but there's an awful lot of young people I find nowadays days that, like, I don't know what it is, to just like, I don't know, like even when we were teenagers, like when there'd be like elderly people there, like you wouldn't be messing around them or anything, or there'd be no, like, you know, horseplay going on when there was an old lady walking by, or do you know what I mean? There was always some sort of respect. But now I see, like, they don't care. They'll stand in the middle of a footpath chatting, or they'll like make the old person get out of their way, like, you know, when they're walking, they won't move out of the way. It's just, it's, I don't know, it's weird. I don't know what's caused that. Like, I don't know. It's just so weird. Domestic terror saying, I wonder how wokeism is working through the special education departments. And that's the thing, it's this whole woke thing, this wokeism or whatever, it's like it's getting to the stage where there'd be nothing. That's why I was even going on about earlier. That's exactly like the term I was looking for was the wokeism about like the advertisements outside the pub there. I was saying, how long will it be before, like we can't have those up there because I understand like you don't want to be plastering alcohol, cigarettes, and all gambling and this, that, and the other into kids' faces and all that. But I'm just saying, like those advertising signs outside the pub there on that pub are they're part of the character of that building. They're old time signs. They're not modern signs. They're like the old fashioned hoardings and all or whatever. And like there'll be people out there to be saying, oh, like you can't have that. The kids will say that, and there'll be alcoholics in no time, and all. But like, that's what I think about just this whole thing. It's just it's getting crazy. Like you can't say anything, and it's even like with people like, I don't know. It's like sometimes you're not supposed to have an opinion about certain things. Do you know what I mean? If you've depending on what the subject is, but like I find people aren't as open anymore about what they think or what they believe, because you're kind of second guessing like people, being judged by someone, or like the whole thing, like you're saying, with like wokeism and like the way people are getting cancelled and this, that, and the other and all. Like it's now people are kind of afraid, I suppose, to come out with things, and I suppose that stifles conversation an awful lot of the time. 67 White Thanks, and God, I remember growing up, we didn't dare disrespect our parents, let alone anyone else. We would have gotten our butts beat. I tell you what, my kids never disrespected my husband or me to this day. In their middle 30s, they're still very respectful, and my granddaughters. I mean, but that's the thing. I think if it's something that's like instilled in people like from a young age, like they carry it on, and then they carry it on, and they carry it on. Like it's when you have people that have like no respect or a bad attitude, that manifests onto their children and their grandchildren or whatever. So yeah, it is. It's always it's kind of a reflection of the parent, I suppose, of the parenting that's come down the line. So like if you go back, if you see someone that's like, if you want to say, for lack of a better term, like someone from like like a bad family or something, if you want to say that like has no respect or whatever, and they're acting out or whatever, and you say, well, somewhere down the line something failed. Do you know what I mean? Where that's why that's continued on, and that cycle will continue on or whatever. But yeah, it's mad, like like there's an awful lot, there is an awful lot of disrespect, and it's as well like everything's so throwaway now, in terms of it's, I'm not saying all young people, like I'm not trying to tear everyone with the one brush, but like there's some young people out there, they're not thinking about tomorrow or the next day. It's and I know that is a thing. When you're young, you're not really like thinking, but there are some people that are being sensible, and then there's other people out there that are just, they're not, like, and it's Dave was saying, since my sister is a teacher and they were talking about getting the strap about a month ago, often you will get one at school, and by the time you got home, your folks would know already, and you would get it there as well when you got home. Yeah, that definitely. But you see, you couldn't do that now, like, because but that's the thing as well. It's nearly got to the point where like the teachers can't even say something to the students to discipline them, and say, oh, how dare you say that, he was only expressing himself, you know. Um, the message are saying, I bought a licorice Saturday night, special gun. threw it all up. But back in the day, you could buy candy cigs, and to this day, I hate licorice. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of. I don't like. I'd have a small piece of licorice, but it's not something that I'd like sit there and snack on, or kind of that. I wouldn't be a big fan of licorice now. But yeah, you could buy that. I remember like we used to be able to buy like the candy cigarettes, little candy cigarettes, or even the ones that had like they were chocolate but wrapped in paper that actually looked like cigarettes. But like you obviously can't get that now because you can't have kids walking around with those fake cigarettes and all. And I suppose when you think about it, I suppose it isn't good, like, you know what I mean? But yeah, that slowly by slowly things are changing, like in terms of like what Joe's saying there. Not everything is wokeism, though. Some people truly deserve a shellacking. Well, definitely, yeah, in some cases, like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, there is some stuff that's absolutely over the top, if you know what I mean, with wokeism. Like, but yeah, I know there are some things that, like, I suppose there's a lot of degeneracy out there, like, and I suppose we do need in some areas to kind of be more concerned with things. Do you know what I mean? Instead of like, um, people getting themselves all hung up on more trivial things, like 67 White Stang saying nowadays usually it's one parent that's really trying and working to make ends meet, and their kids are running wild. No win situation for some single parents, and that is true. Some have to go out and work, and they're dealing with maybe they have more than one kid, and yeah, it could be quite challenging. So yeah, no, I well agree there. Sometimes it can just like, it's not that the parents are not bothered, or they're being lazy, or they're not caring. Like, it's the fact that they've tried their best, or it's just whatever circumstance you find yourself in, you just can't make good of the situation. And also, thank you very much for the super sticker, 67 White thing. I very much appreciate it. Thank you very much. And it's good to see a good few people here, and a good few people have been here from the start, kind of, and kind of people joined us and all that. So it's good to have you all here tonight. And the Mystic Tour saying, as a kid, I had a pocket knife by age 8 and could make my own bow and arrows. By age 10, I was in a bow and arrow club. By age 12, I had a BB gun. So it can't be because of that now. Oh yeah, no, I know what you mean. But see, that's the thing. Even though, like, you know, it's a thing like that. Not everyone will turn out a certain way because of whatever. It's I suppose it's all kind of a mixture of things. Like, maybe it was because if I went to confession, it was a done deal. I needed a woodshed event. But see, the thing is, like, back then you could probably have your own stuff. Like, a kid could have a pocket knife and be trusted to go out and do that. But nowadays, I don't know about that. The way things are, like. But there was things I suppose I did as a kid and stuff like that like it didn't harm me as such or whatever. And then nowadays, like, to be uproar over it, or like places that we might have went and hung out or whatever like that, and people say, "Oh, geez, that's dangerous," like, and you couldn't do that now or whatever. But six and five things, and we got our son a baby going at a young age. My husband took him to a gun course at a sheriff's station, and they both passed. My son got 100%. My husband missed one, and I bet you he doesn't let him forget that either. Kiwi Dave saying, I think that some parents should be licensed to have kids by going through parenting classes. Yeah, especially when it comes to like, let's say parents that have like, that have one or two kids that have been problematic and it's not being sorted out, and then it's like, if you're going to have any more now, you need to get your act together, like. But yeah, but that's the thing. If there was something like, I suppose like that's another thing, in school, another thing for education, like, to do with like parenting and stuff like that, to like to kind of not so much, yeah, not so much to just educate about like, about that, but just about, about family, like, and stuff like that, in terms of like just more on a case of, like, if we're going to have like, like these crisis pregnancies or anything where people, I think it's unplanned and people are very young and stuff like that. And that's why I'm saying in those circumstances, like, more education in terms of, like, if you do find yourself in that situation, it's about like, stepping up or whatever. As opposed to, the way there's some people, like, there's some, I suppose it is a thing to do with immaturity as well, where people won't take it seriously, or meet it head on when something like that happens. And and as bad as that sounds, Dave, I think you do have a point there. There is a whole thing with that. You can get more money and benefits off the government, or it allows you to not have to do certain other things or whatever. And yeah, no, that there is people out there that do play the system, and they don't really care as long as there's money coming in and the kids aren't in their ear. Oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that. 67 White Stang. No, I didn't know. I'm so sorry to hear that. So sad. And that cancer, I think, is a thing that, like, I'm almost anybody you talk to these days kind of has somebody, they know somebody that's been touched by that, or they've had someone that's gone through it. Like, and that's another thing that, like, I'd love. So if we could do something, would be to do something for cancers, where, I know to say like about getting a cure or whatever like that, but I know it's more complex than just a blanket cure for the whole thing. Like, but if that'd be just one thing that would be really, really good, because it's just such a harsh disease, and not just on the people that are going through it, on the people around them as well. Like, watching people going through the treatment and stuff like that, and it's. Yeah, it's hard. And I'm so sorry that I'd said that. If I had known, I wouldn't have quite said it like that. So, um, yeah, and that's the thing. You're saying it's only 9 months, like, and that's the thing with cancer. Like, it can be, some cancers can, you can get a bit of time with them, like, and then others are so rapid. Like, it's not good. Like, it's like I don't know if it's just because I've been, since I've been getting older and all, and I've been kind of paying more attention to stuff like that. But I do notice there is an awful lot of people, like, that I'd know, like, let's say from the local area, that have been affected by cancer, like themselves, they've had it, like, or whatever, or they're suffering with it at the moment. And it just seems that, like, I remember asking a nurse in the hospital a long time ago, does she think that people are getting sicker, or we're just getting better at finding detecting illness, like. And she said she thinks it's the latter, like that people necessarily aren't getting sicker. We're just getting better at picking it up, and we're picking things up earlier. But you know, that's something I really like to see more progress being made on. But I did see something recently about it. There's a new test that they're developing. It's like a blood test that they're hoping that can be worked into people's routinely health checks, and it's supposed to be able to test for 70 different types of cancer at an early stage, through markers in the blood. So like that would be very good, like, because obviously with stuff like that, the earlier the people can pick up on it, the better for treatments and outcomes and stuff like that. But I suppose I hadn't really said this. I just say, but since people are being, I suppose, so open here, I didn't think people would be so open. But and Joe's just saying my dad passed in 2014 from cancer, and I just say my own father passed away in 2016 from cancer. He actually had bowel cancer, and it had kind of, was looking better at one stage, and then all of a sudden it wasn't. So it's to see how rapidly things can go downhill. And my father happened to pass away. It was at the start of January of that year, and so always around kind of Christmas, it's kind of, I don't like saying it. I don't like, kind of, because it wasn't my father's fault, that he got sick and passed away or whatever. But it always kind of does put a dampener on the whole Christmas time, because you always have that, you're thinking of the anniversary coming up. And I don't mind. I'm not trying to say that in a bad way, but you can't help but it's not the same since then, so and that's the thing, like, like there's a lot of people that I would have known, like, or know that have had cancer or whatever, and it's yeah, it's like, yeah, you still, like, you still look forward to Christmas and stuff like that because you have your family there and all or whatever. But like, I'm just saying, it's that whole, it's never the same again. It's just I don't know, like, I don't know, like, it's a hard one. It's just because, like, and I'm only small. We only have a small family, like, so, like, when one person's missing, it's really noticeable, and yeah, and the thing with my own father as well, what makes it even more sad is the fact that he died only months from when he would have been retiring from his job, and he was looking forward to his retirement and all, and then, it's just so sad. Like, it kind of made me realize more about the fact that, you really don't know how long you're going to get, and you really don't know, like, what's going to happen tomorrow. Like, and I know that's so cliche of a thing to say, like the people say, but when it happens to someone close to you, and you know that they were looking forward to certain things and they had, plans and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden you go to the doctors about something unrelated, and they say, oh, and go for a test here and go for a test there, and then, 1 minute you're sitting at home and you were grand, and the next minute they're telling you, the bad news. Like, so, it's a whole, if anybody could say it's something like turning your world upside down, that's exactly what it is. Because, you have your head set on a certain thing, and then all of a sudden someone's saying, no, that's not the way it is anymore. And it's yeah, it's hard to get your head around it, but and 6 10 White saying, God, I'm so sorry. Degenerate Watch, I totally understand what you're saying. My husband passed right before Thanksgiving. Thank God for my precious kids. And yeah, and that's the thing, and I'd say that was hard as well. Especially with the kids I got, and I don't know how old your kids were at the time. Obviously, the younger they are, the harder it is. obviously, like I don't know if there's an easy way of saying this, but my father's father, so my granddad, died when my father was only but it was only a teenager, and like I'm glad, like even though my father passed away now, and like I'm glad I had so many years with him, that he didn't have with his father as such. So, for that you feel thankful. Like at the time you're not really thinking of that till after. It's just, it puts a lot of stuff in perspective, Um and Dave said, I lost 90% of my bowel due to cancer. Bowel cancer here in New Zealand is the most common cancer now. Well, after melanoma, and that's still the biggest cancer. I had no idea, Dave. I'm sorry to hear that. And I hope you're doing well now. But no, I'm so glad that you like, you know what I mean? That because like, when my father's was detected, like it was at the stage where there was nothing that could be done for it, so, yeah, so like that's the thing I'm saying. So, just I didn't know that, Dave. And then 6-7 white thanks, and oh man, that really looks right before retirement. Yeah, and that's the thing, you see, and that's what I'm saying. You don't know what's going to happen, and that's what I'm saying. Like, so, obviously plan for the future and make plans now, but try your best to do what you can when you can. Um, saying just have to eat right, look after myself, very little junk food. That was the hardest part. I love junk food. Well, I'm glad that you're doing well and that you've got over that, like, because like yeah, God, because that there's like cancer's bad, like, but there's certain cancers that are worse than others, like in terms of how aggressive they are, and where they are and stuff like that, and also like yeah, no, I'm delighted for you, Dave, that you're okay. But yeah, I like my junk food as well, so yeah, I could say that'd be quite hard, especially having to just kind of just give it up. But I suppose the case of knowing that you have to, like, 6-7 white thanks. So my kids were 21, 23. My son shaved his long blonde hair when his daddy lost his. He was a skater, so that was really big for him. And that was really nice to do that in solidarity with his dad. You know what I mean? That was really good, and that's a really nice thing to do. You know, yeah, no, that's really sweet. And I suppose like the older, I'm not saying it's never, anytime you lose a parent isn't there's never any time, there's no good time or whatever, but I'm saying I think the older you are, because when my father passed away, I was 26. So I'm thinking, like, if I had been only 16 like my father was, or 15 or whatever it was, like my father was, I don't know if I'd have coped as well as I did when I was 26, the same as if I was like 7 or 8 years old. Do you know what I mean? It's I think the older you are, it's just you're able to understand more about what's happening and stuff, so it makes more sense. If you understand what I mean, it makes more sense to you. When you're a child, there's a lot of confusion, I suppose, when you're not fully understanding what's going on. I presume it kind of sounds like with Dave, what you're saying there is kind of like it's a kind of like they found it as a result of like another issue, like, which I suppose is sometimes that can happen in terms of like, there's one problem and then they find something. So I suppose, like, when you're cursing one thing, it could be a blessing in disguise where they found that, and that could have been much worse or whatever. And 6-7 white saying, my husband fought a good fight, so hang in there. I can't imagine what you're going through. We're here for you. And yeah, that's it. And that's the thing. We're all we it's all good to be here for each other, like, especially. And like I had no idea, and that's the thing, like, I suppose, like, we all chat here and all, and I suppose we never kind of get into a long enough conversation, except for in the live streams where you kind of get to know people a bit more. It's hard in the premiere where it's not like, it's only like 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes long, and you don't really get into a conversation. But I suppose, I kind of have no idea what people do be going through. Do you know what I mean? Like, I had no idea about Dave or Joe or 6 7 White Stang, and that's the thing, guys, as well. And I'll just say this now, that I never intend to, like, put my foot in it, with anyone. I don't like to say, I wouldn't like to say the wrong thing, if you know what I mean. And so don't ever take offense if I say something that, and I'll never take offense if someone says something either, because we're not all so familiar with each other in terms of, so I would like to say something and offend someone else and all, but then I don't want us to all have to tiptoe around each other, I suppose. So it's good to have the conversation and all, and and I'm glad everyone kind of gets on well, in terms of, people can have a conversation there, and that's what I find, actually. I notice the streams kind of, like, we don't have hundreds of people watching the streams or anything, but people are very friendly towards each other, so it's a good bunch of people that we do have here. And domestic terrorist, and things have gotten off what is important, which is discussion is important. That I cancelled my satellite TV because of all that is fake. Yeah, that's true. Like, I don't really watch television anymore. Like, I might watch the odd show, if it's something that's on, that's like a special program or something, I might watch it or whatever. But like, I don't really watch TV. I prefer to, like, my thing was, like, kind of going on YouTube and watching documentaries, watching stuff about history, or even watching, like, people. Like, I like watching, like, guys that have their own business and they're showing you, like, what to do every day and all, or whatever, and stuff like that, and like, like sorry, I just lost my train of thought there. Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, discussion is a thing, and that's what gets shut down all the time, is having discussion. And I suppose, like, when people are just, like, kind of arguing with each other on social media over trivial things, you never have a discussion about things. So yeah, that is very true. Joe said, I am 57 this very day, but I was born at a very young age. I hope you were born at a very young age. The message charge saying, Joe, I turned 67 in July. Happy birthday. And 67 White Stang said, I just turned 64 in May. And Joe, I hope you enjoyed the episode of Father Ted there. And I just want to say that when I did play those clips on the stream, about the next day, I got an email saying that copyright content has been found, your thing. So I had to cut the 2 Father Ted clips out at the end of that other live stream. No way, Dave. That's crazy. And I don't like to be nosy or anything, but did the person get caught for that after, like, I can't believe that, Dave. I don't know what to say there, David. was just reading the messages there. Oh, so like, so you've like been getting like routine, let's say screening since then, you know, and then that's how they ended up finding it, like because of that event. Then you've obviously been like they've been monitoring like that since you've been having those issues, like. So then, yeah. So I get you. So yeah, no, I'm sorry that I said that earlier on about like the whole thing about, oh, you know, when one thing happens to the other. I was thinking of something a lot more, you know, mundane than that. Something like, you had a problem with something else or something. You went in there and got a test or something, and then then they found out. I didn't know it was something like that. But yeah, God, I don't know what to say, Dave. I didn't know. You've done the thing people can't do, Dave. You've left me speechless. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, it's not like the way things are today. There was the kind of culture was different, I suppose. I know what you mean. I'm not saying it was right that wasn't as interested, but yeah, I know what you mean. There wasn't there wasn't a focus on it like there is today. It wasn't. Yeah, I know. I understand what you mean. Yeah, I'm just so glad that you made it out the other side of that and all, and that like you're here because especially if first with that happening to you in the first place, and then with then finding out about the cancer, then it's you deserve a break after all that. And thanks very much as well for sharing that with us, Dave, as well. Like you're very open, like. Yeah, it's terrible. Like like what you're saying there. I was just reading 67 White Stang's comment about saying that I hope they were taken down, and then Dave was saying, "Oh, we're talking in the 90s. The cops were less interested in doing anything," and that's terrible. Like, did you know somebody was able to do that, and there was the kind of an apathetic attitude towards it, like at the time. Yeah, it's just domestic terror center. Many real life tragedies in the old days, and no recourse and no help with recovery. And they said that's why I have a mild dislike to drug dealers and certain dodgy critters in bars that spike drink. Yeah, I can't stand people that do that. It going in to take advantage of people by spiking drinks and all, and doing stuff like that, or even that stuff that was going on a while ago where they were injecting people with stuff. They were kind of spiking or needle spiking or something they were calling it, and that sort of thing. Yeah, that's all disgusting. Like that's only for people to take advantage of other people, like, and whether it be for sexual reasons, or whether it be for to take advantage of them, like to rob them or whatever like that. And yeah, no, anybody that likes that anybody that does that doesn't deserve the time of day as such. Like, they're only kind of the predatory people that are going out to find people to do that to, and then they don't care. Like, it's, as we're saying, it's only about them. Like, and then it's like people like such as yourself and others that have to live with that afterwards, like of what happened and all. Well, they're gone off somewhere. But no, so that's quite a lot of stuff they'll go through. Yeah, and I think that's the thing, Dave. With it's the whole, I suppose though there is a whole thing that, like, I'm not saying it's right or not, but there's a whole thing where men are supposed to kind of get on with it, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying I don't mean to make that sound harsh, but it's sort of people don't want to come. Men maybe don't want to come forward, like maybe to feel like they won't be believed, or they won't be people I don't know what it is. It all depends on the person, but in my own case, I feel like I'd feel like going to speak to someone about it would be like, yeah, like it's like what you're saying there. Is it the cops still really don't think a male could be assaulted that way? Yeah, they're kind of thinking, oh, would you not have like, fended them off like or something? Yeah, no, I know what you mean. There is kind of still some sort of stigma attached to kind of coming out, and it's the same with people that like we've had terrible cases of abuse here in Ireland, and when it comes to like the church and all that, and um that's the thing. There's a whole thing with people back in the day. People didn't want to come forward and report all those things, is because the clergy were seen as were held in high regard and stuff like that, and you didn't dare come out and say something like that because nobody would believe you. But as times moved on and all, more people start coming out and speaking up and stuff like that, and that's how it. But yeah, totally, there is still some sort of stigma there, and you're supposed to kind of deal with it or whatever, like for lack of a better term, kind of just get on with it. Yeah, it happened and it's bad that it happened, but you're a man, like you need to move on, like and that's, and I'm not saying, like, I'm pretty sure there's people that have that attitude to women out there as well, to say, oh well, it's happened now, you just need to move on, and like that's terrible attitude, because everyone deals with, some people, things can happen, they can just move on, and that's grand, but other people aren't, I suppose, as strong as others, I suppose, and they're just not as resilient, I suppose. Yeah, definitely. Special place in hell for them all. Yeah, there's an awful lot of people out there that are just I just don't know, like, how to live with themselves with what they get up to. 6-7 White Thanks, and exactly. People don't usually think males can get. I say, I don't know if it gets said that word or get nuked here, but no, you can write it or whatever. But I don't know. I say, because I've gone that I feel like I can't say that because I see other people on YouTube when that's brought up, they don't say the word because they think they'll be censored for it. So it's kind of that's the thing of this wokeism too, where we can't even have a discussion about certain things, because if something picks that up, the thinks that we're somehow promoting that or something. I don't know. We're not promoting it, but you know what I mean? Like, oh, that's been talked about, that's controversial, better stop that so nobody gets upset, sort of thing, But as it happens to this day, but like you stated back then, they probably wouldn't have believed you. This sucks, and it makes me mad. And it would make you mad because, like, it's I don't know. It's just that it's like, I suppose people don't yeah, like Dave said, it doesn't help that I was brought up with English difficult. It's kind of like, that yeah, that I know what you're talking about. It's kind of like, keep up appearances sort of a thing. It's like, if you go and make a fuss over this, then it draws attention to the fact that happened, and it's it's making us look bad, even though you did nothing wrong. That it was somebody else that decided to do something. It's the judgment of other people that, and I think that's so wrong. Like, because and so it doesn't actually, the person doesn't actually have any culpability in it as such, and yeah, it's crazy. Like, well, no, I'm glad that you shared it here with us, and I was not expecting that, and that's what I was saying, is that there was a lot of kind of openness here with people tonight, like, which was very nice, and I know, like, especially on the internet, like, it's probably the place where you'd probably be most guarded about your personal life and stuff like that, and that's why I suppose, like, I don't speak a lot. Yeah, I speak about stuff I'm doing, but, like, in terms of, like, deeply personal stuff, I don't go into a lot of. I know there's people out there that be on YouTube or whatever, and they tell you everything, including what their granny had for breakfast this morning. Everything's put all out there on display, and there's nothing hidden away. But I think you do have to have some private things, and you know, whatever. You have to have some sort of a private life as well, like, do you know what I mean? But yeah, no, but I'm glad you were able to share that with us, Dave, and I'm glad everybody was kind of just very open and chatting and all. It's kind of like it's kind of like a little kind of like I suppose what would I don't know what you call it. I can't have a word to describe it, but it was yeah, I just saying domestic or sent an MI right under kind of attracts their attention. I would believe so. I bet you probably had a few lists there where they're like, "What's this channel about?" Um, but yeah, no, it has been an amazing night, and that's what I was saying. It was a great chat and all. And to be honest, when we came on at the start, I hadn't even intended like what we're streaming 3.5 hours nearly now, and I hadn't even intended it. I said I'd probably go on for an hour and a half there. You know what I mean? That's what I was thinking. Throw up a few of the clips and uh, that'd be that, like, you know. But you know, here we are, 3.5 hours in, and yeah, I can't believe we've got from one subject to the other. But isn't it crazy how like you can start talking about one thing, and yeah, even back at the start of the first thing we were doing, we were looking at the webcam at the pub, like, you know, and it ended up here. But it's crazy the way things end up. But yeah, and that's the thing. If anybody ever needs anything, we're here. Just drop us a mail or a mail. It's a mail, an email, or a message on social media or anything like that. I don't know. Does anybody? I suppose we still use mail because they still send me bills in the post. So I suppose snail mail hasn't gone away yet. But It's happy 44 this year, so I've quite the number of years to get over it. But I do like to put things in boxes or in files in a filing cabinet. Yeah, it's kind of like, I suppose everyone deals with things in their own way differently. Like, do you know what I mean? And like if that's the way you kind of think, that's, you know. So I suppose like some people kind of just forget, like when something happens, like they just want to forget about it altogether. And then some people, it's kind of, yeah, I know it, and it's hard for someone outside the situation, like myself or anyone else, to kind of understand that, you know, of how you would actually you know, how that works in your own mind, like, you know, with dealing with it and all. But yeah, so I can't believe that we've had such a discussion tonight anyway. And believe it or not, when I started streaming, it was dark outside. It is now bright. It's now bright. My neighbors think I'm crazy, and but they probably did anyway. Yeah, and I think Dave, yeah, like to be able to come out and talk about that even in here, like, do you know what I mean, and all, it does, yeah, it does show that you're a strong person, and that, you know, you have dealt with it and all, and that, like, even what you're saying is that you had said there that you had went and spoken a few schools about it, about just watching out after your friends and all, and making sure that everyone's okay, and that's the thing I said too. And it's something that I'd say to everyone, like, no matter what age you are, whether you're young or old or whatever, and you're out, do not be wandering around on your own, especially if you've had a few drinks, you know what I mean? Especially if it's somewhere that you're not from, like in a straight, you know, a city that you're not from, or if you're on holidays or something. Don't leave people on their own. And if, you know, if you have to get a group of people to walk someone back to the hotel and then everyone walk back to the pub, isn't it so much better to take that few minutes, that bit of hassle, as you'd call it, or whatever, to walk somebody back and then walk back to the pub, than to say, you head on there and then something happens to that person, and then, you know, you have that regret about not doing anything at the time, you know. I said, we were discussing drugs, and then kind of morphed in from one thing to the other. But Yeah, and that's the thing about, yeah, like you're saying there about the live streams, like they're so fluid, like they can be talking about one thing or someone could bring up something and it could get to something else, you know. Whereas I suppose just a normal video is just about like, you know, one topic or whatever it's about, and then that's that, like, or whatever. But yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. I was starting to I can feel my throat starting to like, I thought it was just I needed a drink, but no, like the muscles of my throat are actually starting to hurt from talking, you know. And I don't know what that is. Like, I could talk normally. I think it's because even though I'm speaking into a microphone, I think is when you know you're speaking, you're, I don't know, you're putting more emphasis into it or something, and I think that's what makes it, you're sorer or something. I know, but I know I'm going to be a bit hoarse in the morning. That usually happens actually. Like sometimes, like I come off the stream and I go out and I go to say something to someone, and then I realize that my voice is gone. But yeah, it's almost 6 o'clock. It's 9 minutes to 6 a.m. in the morning here, and I'll probably probably go in now and probably wake the place up now, trying to get into this bed. But as long as the dog doesn't wake up and start barking, we're all good. But you probably won't because he's very good. But 5 p.m. in New Zealand, so I'm getting ready for. Well, I should be getting ready for breakfast if I was getting up, and you're near getting ready for dinner. Actually, I think the top of my head's actually gone numb from the headphones sitting on top of them there. I don't know why I'm still wearing the headphones. I'm not actually playing anything with audio, but it's 10:49 here in Idaho. Yeah, isn't it crazy? And there's so many people watching from all over the place as well. We have Oregon, Idaho, New Zealand. Joe's there in DC. Yeah, New Zealand. New Zealand would be a nice place to visit. Yeah, New Zealand would be a really nice place to visit sometime. A guy from town that like I wouldn't be like, I'm not exactly friends with, but I'd know him through a friend. His father's from New Zealand, and he'd travel over there quite a lot. He just put pictures up on Facebook, and it's quite nice over there. But yeah, guys, I hope to be back in the next couple of days with another video anyway. Not sure what it's about. I have a couple of bits lined up there. I'm not sure what I'm going to go with yet. I haven't started making it yet. I just got that other one done and put up and all that. But we should be back with another live stream soon as well. But I'm losing me train of thought again. I'm having these choo moments, Dave. Proper choo moment. And thanks very much there, Joe, for the $10 super sticker as well. Very much appreciated. And thank you very much for joining us. And thanks everyone for joining us to Kiwi Dave, 67 White Stang. Sorry if if I'm not pronouncing these right because of my voice gone. 67 White Stang, Domestic Terror. And I'm sorry if I forgot anyone. And anybody that was watching earlier on, and anybody just watched to the end as well. If anyone's watching this back on the replay as well, thanks very much. But I hope everybody has a fantastic day, and Dave has a fantastic night. So, you know, we're on the different time zones here. So I'm going to have a good morning / morning snooze. So yeah. So yeah, it was really good discussion and all, and I really enjoyed the stream. So I hope you guys all enjoyed it, and I hope you all had a bit of fun and a bit of I don't know what you call it. I'm so tired now. I'm fading here, and I'm probably babbling on here, but yeah, no, I appreciate everybody coming and everyone sticking here for such a long time as well. It was one of the marathon stream. I think the longest stream I've ever done was 5 hours. I think it was that Irish crime one. and I can't even remember what I was like after that. I must have been not able to speak, but yeah, I have run out. Well, I have some water left here, but it's really it's really fighting a losing battle here. But yeah, I hope to get back soon, and even if this other video is taking a bit longer, what I'll try to do is I'll try come in with a live stream, because even if we kind of do something and just have a bit of a chat and all that, you know what I mean? Because that was the thing before. I was thinking like, oh well, if you just go on and chat, maybe people will kind of get bored, like, you know. But no, you know, once you, because that was the thing I was thinking before, like what to stream about, and that's probably why live streams are kind of few and far between for a while. But no, I should kind of do this more often. Just come on and look a few clips and see where it ends up, you know. But appreciate everyone for coming, and appreciate everyone that has dropped a super sticker or a super chat or whatever there, and because I know there was some earlier on there. So thanks very much, everyone. I'm gonna head on now to my bed. And I hope you all have a really good day. And night or whatever. I'm a mess now. I think so. But yeah, guys, thanks very much for coming, and take care, everybody. Oh yeah, that's right, Dave. I actually had been drinking during that. Yeah, there was let's not talk about that. That was embarrassment. Don't go watch that, anybody. that has to be buried in the archive. So yeah. So anyway, take care, everyone, because it'll probably be 7 o'clock and I'll be still here. So take care, everyone, and I'll see you soon. Thanks very much.